It's the Bennington Show on a Friday coming up a little later on. It's Unmasked with Carrot Top. And Gail, I have to say that got the room dancing better than any song we've had for a while.
I love New Order, and I'm so excited because they're going to be one of the bands that we play tomorrow on GPS Manchester. That's going to be tomorrow, which is Saturday, 3 p.m. On Deep Tracks Channel 27. Just one of the bands that we're going to be doing. But I love that song so much. It's just pure joy when I hear that song. Like, immediately I think about my friends in college and dancing and laughing and like always playing this song, which is funny because was not new at the time.
Right, it doesn't have to be if that's the connection song. For me, I don't know, it always seems like the perfect movie soundtrack song. Like, that should be the boy and girl driving off at the end of some hipster rom-com. Because that song sounds like you could go out tonight and some band in Brooklyn just said, hey, we just wrote this song, and it would still fit. You know?
Yeah, it has that exact feeling. There's something very like youthful and joyful. I think that they used that in the Sofia Coppola movie with the Antoinette, the Marie Antoinette one. So it was kind of an out of time thing with that as well, where they were like running and dancing around.
By the way,
that.
Sofia Coppola always has the best soundtracks.
She does.
I don't want to say that because Quentin Tarantino, Martin Scorsese, and Cameron Crowe get mad at me because I'm such good friends with them. But she has great soundtracks.
And then we'll get the text like, hey, I heard you say that Sophia's like,
Chris,
chill.
What does that song remind you of? Smoking and drinking?
It's smoking weed, yeah.
That's so not a weed smoking song.
I don't think it's a weed song
at all.
Just smoke by yourself, just listen, just feel happy. It's great.
It's more of a drinking song.
I love that goddamn song.
Yeah, but haven't you ever smoked weed while you're on like an inner tube and just say, put on Smoke on the Water? I gotta fucking hear it right now.
Do it!
You see what's happening? I'm actually smoking on the water.
It fits now!
Oh. Well, you know, my dream has always been to open up a tubing business, hopefully in the Poconos. We rent you the tubes, and then we drive down to the end and pick up the tubes.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, so you don't have to worry about bringing them back. I don't know how you guys are going to get back, though.
Can't get a ride?
We're just here for the tubes.
I mean, there is Uber, you know?
Come on.
Wait, Tuber. Tuber.
Get it. Oh, my God, Joe.
Get the app team.
No matter where you are at the beach, we'll bring a tube to you.
Oh, my God. Got a call on the tuber. We found your phone on the tuber.
I like the idea. I'm trying to make up apps all the time.
That's the only thing that matters now. It's the only thing people care about.
Chris, weren't you saying that you had an app that makes apps?
Yeah, it's an app, right? So you get this app, and then you say like whatever you want, and then it makes an app for the app. It's like the
What do you
meta
call
app. I call it meta app.
I never seen an app like that.
Or Medip, as some people might call it, because it looks like, because it's like METAPP.
I don't get it.
Or Meat App.
All right, so just
that I'd like.
It's like a Uber for apps, or we could also call it Tuber because you just bring a hot dog to people.
Great, perfect.
Jesus, I love this.
Uber actually does bring food. Yesterday, of course, we had food as we said goodbye to our interns. And Gail, you lost it during the song. Who knew that he was such a great singer, but our own Kashmir sang that song that everybody loved.
Still thinking about it.
Yeah,
really touched me.
I mean,
But it should be.
Yeah. I'm presidential, great voice. I have everything. Yeah.
Everything that we could want.
Everything
yes, of course.
good.
I could win the voice. I could win the nominee. They'll bring back American Idol. I got it.
He believes in himself, you know? And that makes me believe in him. Joe, you don't believe in yourself, right?
No, I have a problem with that.
Is that a Midwest thing that you just don't want to kind of act like you're doing well?
Yeah, it's kind of like, hey guys, I'm just here. I don't want to overstep my bounds, that kind of a thing.
Yeah, I couldn't live that way.
You got to overstep your bounds.
That'd be more like Kashmir, you know?
Yeah. Getting out there, taking it out, chopping it up.
Kashmir, were you just taking a gross hair off of your... just to see how disgusted he was with
And I
it.
moved it over to where Joe's like,
Ew.
That's
Joe
fine.
Take this.
No, I deserve it.
And we stepped right on your bit from that movie on the Royals, which was great.
Yeah.
Taking it out.
Yeah. Taking it out, chopping it up, having a great time.
Putting a brick through the other guy's windshield.
What?
Those kids are just looking at him, just ready to be bad.
Oh no, that's dog's blood.
That's dog's blood to make the father feel better.
That's dog's blood.
Well, coming up in I can't believe it's the weekend already.
Yep.
Yeah.
But Carrot Top Unmasked, and we're looking forward to that. We thought for a Friday we'd chill a little bit, just get to talking. Let Joe talk a little bit today. Big Vito.
I know.
We're saying goodbye to our pal Cashmere.
Cash. I'm going to miss Cash.
Sweet Cashmere.
Sweet.
So
Sweet
pleasant.
Cashmere.
Sweet Cashmere.
So knowing. So loving.
All right, the first topic of the day, and I was thinking about this because we have the big GPS Manchester tomorrow.
Manchester, England.
Well, I will remind you, 3 p.m., Deep Tracks, Channel 27. Because I loved the style of that time. It was a very cool thing where they were taking a little bit from the mod look and a little bit from the punk look. Mm-hmm. And that's what kind of that post-punk hybrid. What do you think is the best style that came from a genre of music?
Ooh, it has to be based off the music itself. I have no problem with this one. I feel like I should go first because, number one, I feel like I'm style boy for the show, and I know a lot of people think that it's
Cashmere calls you style boy, by the way.
SBRB, yeah.
But I really feel like style boy for the show. Now, this is still echoing, still reflected in music and style today, and that is the original glam rock look that you saw with Mr. David Bowie, which, of course, Roxy Music had it, and the entire scene was just the first time we were like, who are the boys? Who are the girls? We don't know.
It's all one thing. I would disagree with you, but I am wearing platform boots right now.
You were wearing boots that you could have worn in 1973. And you know what people would have said of? Wait a minute, what are those heels made out of? That doesn't exist.
What is this material?
You would have those big wooden heels and big wooden platforms, and you would always have to take it to the shoemaker to put a little tap on it, or you would walk those things down fast.
Yeah. Now, anytime I see somebody sees my boots who were once wearing platforms, they were like, "Oh, I used to wear that in my day." Yeah. The first thing they always ask is, "Are they heavy? Are they really heavy?" I was like, "No, they're surprisingly light."
Yeah, because they were like wearing anchors in your feet. Now, the other thing is, you go back and you watch those guys. They did not make a big deal about what they were wearing. Like if you look at Lady Gaga, she's like, you know, she'll be like, "Look what I'm wearing." They just wore it. They didn't have a stylist working
that was
with them.
On
they
their
didn't
own.
print. They walked out. And a lot of those English guys, they probably didn't even take a shower the night before. And they put this like, they were really...
They're wearing dirty girls' clothes.
They were very dirty girls, all of them.
Now,
Mott the Hoople, Lou Reed picked it up. It's still a rock and roll look to this day.
Now, what about you, Cashmere? Because you are the stylish one here.
Well, I have to say, I do love the like that 80s, like the Madonna pop that she brought on, and how she made everybody just dress a little, like put 5 layers on, and it's like kind of like the spaghetti to the wall.
Yeah.
And like half a meatball sticks, and you're like, that's my outfit for the next 5 months, and then you change it over.
Now, she worked with, and a lot of people don't know this, but a very famous fashion photographer who was part of her entire look, shot all the original stuff with her. So it's Steven Meisel. Now, are you familiar with him?
I'm not.
Now that I've turned you on to his name, you will go and read as much as you can about him, because Steven Meisel is one of those guys that will do this year's color is chartreuse, right?
Right.
He'll say something like that, and it will just go all the way down till it's in Kmart.
You're
you know
like,
what I mean?
shit.
It'll be at the
chartreuse.
very top. See if you can find a picture of him too, because he kind of looked to me like he was Madonna. He doesn't do interviews. He's a very but everybody in the fashion industry is crazy about him. But he was kind of her mentor or whatever, and for that look that she brought in. And it was my favorite look that I had seen that she had done ever. You know what I mean? Like that whole "Who's That Girl" look when she was still "Who's That Girl"? No,
with the short blonde hair was
but she was wearing Desperately Seeking Susan.
Yeah.
That was the movie where I'm like, she was at her sexiest, streetest, because she wasn't. It was kind of junky. You know what I mean? It was kind of a junky look.
Similar to that look was when I was a little girl watching MTV. It was like everything that Cyndi Lauper wore. I was like, I just kept thinking, I cannot wait till I am an adult woman till I can pick what I wear. Because if you think about it, that of course would appeal to a little girl. It's just like neon tutus
she
and
dressed like a
scarves.
cartoon.
It's so unusual, yeah.
And I was so unusual.
And I was like, well, now I know how I'll dress when I'm an adult. Like that.
But you didn't know that you weren't going to be an adult in the 80s.
Yeah, I did. I did not realize that the trends would change.
Fishnets are still cool. Yeah.
I mean, the 80s might be the most colorful of all decades, where like even people's moms were wearing neon.
Yeah. Joe, what do you think is the most fashionable music genre?
I think you have to go all the way back, 1960s psychedelic, and the whole hippie scene, and that is definitely a fashion that is still used today. The hair, the flowers.
Give us the defining person of that.
Hendrix.
Hendrix was like Prince's dad. You know what I mean? Like, and that look, that gypsy look. That Hendrix
the gypsy
had,
look will never go away.
Yeah.
And with the hippie look, it's kind of amazing because you could go to any college in any year and they just keep making hippie kids. I don't know how they keep doing it.
They're still around today.
They're still around. Yeah. But you can't say that about the look of every genre of music.
Well, I don't know. I mean, if we could talk about it, but I kind of feel like whatever fashion or music happened is in this generation somewhere. We can find a living embodiment of it today, even if it's a very small subculture.
Yeah.
But I feel like this is the time of subculture, right?
Yeah, exactly. Because you can go in and kind of figure out what you want to be into because you have access to all of it.
Yeah.
But I think Janice, for me, was like the iconic hippie look. Because I think when I think of the hippie look, I usually think feminine first.
Right.
I think of like the long hair, the flowers, the like flowy, like she just was the best.
All right, I'm going to pick from the same era the stunning Michelle Phillips that to me looks like California itself.
Yeah.
This is her look in the 60s was fantasy California. Maybe a California that doesn't even exist.
Yeah, so stunning.
Her
and
mama's and papa's look.
Yeah, effortlessly beautiful too. Like it's just like why do you naturally look like that? You just like roll out of bed and shake your hair and that's what you look like.
But that's when people on the coast started saying, like kids for the first time, like I'm moving. Because people didn't move before then. You know what I mean? You just were born somewhere and that was it. Or if you had a certain, talent that could take you. But people were moving to California not to be in the movie business, not to start a band, but to be in California.
Yeah.
That didn't happen. That didn't happen before. They weren't there to make their fortune. They were there to party and have fun. And I think that hippie look had a huge amount to do with this.
Now let's move this question now onto some of our least stylish people in the room.
Dad shirts?
Dad shirts and bro hat. Vito, what would you say yours is?
My favorite would be like the Sinatra, like Dean Martin crooners era.
I am surprised.
Wow.
Yeah, no, I really like a good suit. Like I really like a good suit, and I love their suits. Like the first suit I ever bought with my own money was yes, it was big and tall. It was the first suit I ever bought was a sharkskin suit because I thought they all looked so cool and they wore like flashy suits.
That is so great.
So as always, it's mafioso, not music. Now, see, the thing is, here's the look that you should go for. And it's because you're a big Springsteen fan, but that pimpy looking early E Street Band look, where they all look like they were selling women and stolen goods on the corner.
This could be your look. I definitely agree with that. But I think I definitely agree with the suit aspect because I think that's the reason that the mod look is one of my favorites.
The mod is unbelievable.
The that British invasion time where young skinny kids and skinny ties and
you got to be young to wear that. Vito's after a middle-aged look,
It's true.
Yeah. Most of his look says, is this a table for four? You know what I mean? It's a Mater D's look that he loves. But the mod look how quickly that got picked up again for New Wave. It just,
exactly.
then it was the Reservoir Dogs. It never goes away.
It never goes away. It's such a good look. And it's a great look because of the suits, but also the women. The incredible dresses with the bright tights and the little pixie cuts. It was the best. It's definitely one of my favorites. Chris, for you, most stylish genre of music.
It's the 70s punk. That has to be it.
70s punk.
Yeah, with the Sid Vicious would be the person with the fucked up clothes and the studs and the leather jacket. I think that looks fantastic.
See, I disagree, and I would say the Richard Hell, fucking Patti Smith, true living punk, not trying to dress punk. I think as soon as you go, I want to dress punk, it looks cheesy.
Well, yeah, I think that it was Richard Hell that a lot of people credit for actually getting that look started, and it was he didn't have money, and that's why he had holes in his clothes, and it was dirty.
That's why he used pins to hold his clothes
exactly.
together.
And then that started to get adopted by other groups. So Richard Hell was the real deal punk look. That was all.
Yeah, to me, the English guys were closer to being posers because they didn't need to do it.
That the New York punks actually.
I would have thought Chris would have went with the hair metal scene of the late 80s. That seems like Chris to me. Because you've always been a hair farmer.
Yeah. I had that crazy long hair for a long time.
You wear sleeves and no shirts. Which I don't even know how that works.
I like to show off the guts.
It's maybe the most hated of looks.
Do you think?
It could be.
It was weird enough for me being in the 80s and not thinking, boy, this looks strange. It just seemed, it's like I said about Donald Trump, where I see his hair now or his skin color, and I totally accept it. I don't think, oh, how weird, like some people still do.
Yeah.
That's how I felt like when Poison came out on stage. It just looked like a band to me.
Yeah.
Now when I go back to look at it, I'm like, I don't even know human beings like that.
But when you're in it, when it's the norm of the time, you don't question it all. Why would you ever think, oh, what I'm wearing right now looks really silly, and I'm definitely going to regret that. And then 10 years later, it's like you've just woken up from a bad nightmare. Like, what was I doing? Or why was I like this?
It's where you'll see things where, like, you couldn't get away from padded collars and a jacket, you know, padded shoulders.
Yeah.
And now you're like, well, that's the last thing that I need. I've already got big, giant shoulders.
Yeah.
Why do I have that? But but even in the 80s, no one questioned the mullet. Matter of fact, it did not even have the name, the mullet.
Just a haircut.
Yeah.
And Brian Regan says you can't go back in time and rename something.
Yeah.
Because if it was called the mullet, he wouldn't have gotten it. And that makes total sense to me. And, you know, Mel Gibson had it. Why wouldn't you wear your hair that way?
Yeah, it's the men's haircut. Is really
Hockey
what it
players,
was.
soccer players, yeah. It just showed, you know, hey, I understand it. I'm at work today, you know?
But don't think I'm not fun.
I am
don't
fun.
Think,
you're going to find out.
I'll be able to shake my hair once I get to the show, believe me.
And that was actually even based on early Bowie. Bowie came out with that weird haircut where it was all flying down in the back.
Yeah, it had a very quick resurgence within a certain group of people. Like in college, we used to call it the fashion mullet. And I rocked a very similar Bowie fashion mullet.
Chris, what about you?
Dyed red.
Can we talk you into a mullet?
No, I'm not rocking a mullet.
You could do it. I think you could do it.
Are you just going for major beard work now? Is that where you're at with this?
I haven't shaved in about a
I
month.
like it. Yeah.
Major dude
good,
with a
right?
major beard?
He is a major fucking dude.
No.
He doesn't drink, doesn't smoke.
What do he do?
It's a good question.
Sudden innuendo follows. All right. So do we have a definitive?
80s hair metal.
No. It didn't even make it.
It was my number 2.
That was
Joe,
not
other than your own, what do you pick?
I pick glam. That's something also the kids at like Coachella will pull off of.
Really? Is that right?
Now when they go to festivals.
All right,
I'm going to have to say, for me, it's going to be the hippie look. I think it has
Still
stayed.
hippie.
I think it has stayed true.
I want to put Gail's appendix on the hippie look because, like, the Janice and all that was really cool. But Joe, yeah, I like that because that's when it's a type of thing where you're like, it's their personality and their look. You just kind of get like a feeling of it.
By the way, I actually thought he meant my appendix.
Yeah, that would be cool.
If my very stylish appendix is added right now. Vito, what's your pick for?
You can't pick your own.
You cannot pick your own.
I'm siding with Chris Stanley on the punk rock.
His face. You don't even appreciate it.
I choose the hippie look.
You're back to hippie? I'm gonna make it the winner then, the hippie look.
Yay!
Across the board. Because I was thinking too, you brought up girls, but like Neil Young's look of patches in jeans, people don't realize that never even happened before. People didn't patch up those jeans and put like cool things on them, and that's still in colleges today.
And they're dependent on you, son.
Yeah. Oh, not that kind of patches. Oh. Okay. But that kid went through.
Oh, no.
Don't even get me started.
Such a great song.
What is MSNBC? Okay. Constant news. It's around the clock.
It never stops.
It never stops. It won't stop, and it can't stop.
Can't hit snooze on news.
All right, I have another.
I like that.
Write that down.
Snooze.
I have another question that I was discussing yesterday with one Mr. Joey Jojo. What do you think, for you, is the movie that a nation loved, everyone loves it, but you did not understand why? Everybody loves this movie.
I got a million of those.
You hated it.
I could never stop making up a list.
Joe.
For me, okay, I'm going to be controversial, but I do not like the movie One Flew Over the Cuckoo's Nest.
Oh, you
my
Yeah,
God.
I said it. I did it.
What? I am seriously freaked out by this.
Can you believe it?
No.
Here's why. I made the mistake of reading the book right before I saw the movie, and then I watched it immediately after and was angry at the adaptation, and that has stayed with me ever since.
What didn't you like? Because remember, it's a movie that they make.
Yeah. So I didn't like just there were some things that happened in the movie that didn't happen in the book, and vice versa. And there's also
can I just say this? This is no reason to hate a movie. You've got to judge a movie for what it is. You're like the kid, right? Your mom's divorced, and you start comparing the new guy to your dad. That can't happen. No. You got to compare the new guy to the new guy.
Well, what also did it was I was reading the book and I was like, wow, this is great imagery. I can't wait to watch the movie, see what they do with this scene. And then they completely forgot it. Or
they
like
don't
didn't
forget
do
it.
anything.
They didn't use it. If you would have went and filmed the book, it would have been a 9-hour fucking movie. So you can't do that. Now, what did you think of Jack as R.P. McMurphy?
Oh, he's great.
Now, you say that. R.P. McMurphy was supposed to be like 6'2", 6'3",
red hair,
giant fucking fist, red hair, slugging it out. Jack is like 5'7" and a wiry guy. It proves that you're bullshit, my friend. Because if you were going to be mad about anything, it would be that.
Yeah.
And I know people who get mad about that. They're also mad because Tom Cruise is that. I forget what the character's name is that runs around fucking solving. He's an ex-military guy.
Born?
Not born. How could he be born if it's Tom Cruise?
Oh, yeah.
Jack Reacher.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Points.
So good
to him.
Points.
But, I haven't read the book, so I don't give a shit one way or another.
Yeah.
When I watch it, I'm judging it as a movie. I'm completely disgusted.
Joe,
maybe I quit.
Not going to get any support.
No.
Please
Does
don't.
anybody here support him?
Fuck no.
No one's going to support Joe on this. It enraged me when I heard it.
No, that's why you brought it up?
Oh, yeah.
To make us join in your hate for him?
Because I knew that you guys would support me. Chris, what would you say for you is the movie everyone loved, you hated it?
All right, this movie had 99% rating on Rotten Tomatoes. It was that nothing but great press leading up to it. I went to go see it. feeling very happy, like I can't want to see this movie. It's called Snowpiercer, and it's one of the biggest pieces of shit I've ever seen in my entire life.
We got to get Leslie back in here. She loved. He hated. But it's not your premise was movies that everyone loved and you hated.
Yeah.
So Snowpiercer, I don't think
a nation fell in love with Snowpiercer.
I didn't see anyone say
you have some kind of brother sister incest thing going on with Leslie.
That's what it is.
You won't drop. No, but it does seem like it's a brother sister tease thing. Right. But then there's also an attraction of some type.
All right, I'm going to throw mine in just to reset this room.
Reset the fucking
it. I'm going to say it. Forrest Gump. I don't get it. I don't know why it's beloved. I don't know why people like the average person will talk about it and say it's one of their favorite movies of all time. I don't get it. I don't understand it. Why?
Well, we loved it because it showed that you don't have to think, you just have to feel. So that's what the movie was about. If you just feel something, it's better than thinking. And it's stupid people who think life will work out okay, even for this waterhead.
Okay, but here's my problem. It gets a little far with the getting himself into amazing circumstances. Like, okay, it happens once or twice.
It's a fairy tale.
It's very silly. I don't like it. And I don't even like the performance that much.
I don't know why that they picked a couple things. Like, I get, you met Elvis or whatever. Why the shrimp?
The shrimp boat.
That was a setup for Apple.
And then he became the nation's biggest celebrity when he ran across the country and back. Give me a break with that.
Yeah, but it did show that if girls have sex, they will die.
Yeah.
And leave their baby behind. And all they're good for is the babies that they can give you. But yours, of course, made a lot more sense than saying Snowpiercer.
Snowpiercer made no sense.
How many people here have seen Snowpiercer?
I have.
So one other person.
I read the book, and it's so much better than the movie.
Vito, what is your Gump?
I am so excited to say this. I hate The Dark Knight so much, and everybody loves it, and I think it's the most overrated movie I've ever seen in my life. First of all, it's slow as fuck. Like, which
one are you talking about? The first?
The second one.
Second one. With the Joker.
The Joker. The only good thing about that movie is the Joker. And
everyone agrees to that, I believe, right?
People act like it's some beautiful movie. The Joker's great. Everything in between, you're just like, all right, when's he coming back out? It doesn't flow very well, and everybody acts like it's this great movie, and everybody hates the third one. The third one did a better job of keeping me entertained.
What is the third one? I don't even know that.
The Dark Knight Rises.
Bane.
So who's in it?
Bane?
Oh, God, that's ridiculous.
Bane stunk too.
The second one was so bad. Do something I want to Bane.
It's fucking so stupid. I would agree that the Joker is the only good thing in any Batman. And I'm talking about all the movies. Jack Nicholson Joker, Heath Ledger Joker.
Say that to my face if you think that is true.
That actually scared me. I thought that he was here. But don't you agree that the Joker is the only character that isn't embarrassing? And Batman is embarrassing.
I was obsessed with the Jack Nicholson Joker as a little kid. Obsessed.
I want to go back and watch it because I haven't seen it in years.
I haven't seen it in a long time either. And I know I'll love it. But you know what? I liked The Dark Knight. I think it did fall apart in the end. But I think in this case, his performance is enough to see me through the... Keith's performance is enough to see me through that movie.
But it's the only thing that's likable.
No, you're right. Christian Bale is not. But
Well, let's do this. You're saying that you like The Dark Knight, but you don't like The Dark Knight.
I don't.
That's how fucking sick you are right now.
I know.
That's how mental that you need to be taken away.
I'm mental.
Right.
All right, Kashmir.
Mine causes a little commotion during Christmas.
Oh, good. Good.
I usually love a bad movie, so usually I'm on the other end of the stick, but I can't stand Elf.
Wow.
I've never heard anyone run down.
I am the only I am in the 1% of one thing, and it's that. You put it on, I immediately just cringe. I don't need a Zooey Deschanel pre-working her bangs.
Wow.
I don't need Will Ferrell being like, I'm tall. I don't need any of that.
But he is tall.
Yeah.
You know what part that I hate? Where they act like there's special cops in Central Park. That just drives... why can't you just go with the real cops?
I walked out of the theater when that happened. I left, because I was like, I can't handle this anymore. It was painful.
They give too much power to the stores. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But the Elf... we don't have, that's going back to Miracle on 34th Street, where a store
had that
much power. Now everybody just goes online. No one gives a shit what your window dressing looks like.
It's bricking them up.
Joey Jojo, your pick.
He already picked.
Oh, he did?
Yeah,
oh, yeah,
remember
that's
he
right.
pissed everybody off at the beginning.
I
First
forgot.
Of all, his is the
you know what? I
worst.
tried to actually erase that from my memory.
Good,
I was
smart.
so disgusted.
Only one of us hasn't picked yet.
Ronnie B.
Here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to probably sing you the song. And believe me, I'm no Cashmere. I'm not going to have you, fucking crying because it's so beautiful. All right, I'll just give you this song. Star Wars, hate all the Star Wars, hate all the Star Wars, think they are shit. Here's the deal. I can't believe some people get around and say, like, the prequels are awful. Why do they watch the other shitty Star Wars?
It's funny because I went back just before this last Star Wars. See, I forget the names of them already. The last Star Wars.
Force Awakens.
Okay, I went back and watched the original
It's
3.
the Fart Awakens.
And I could not believe how cringy a lot of it was. The original movies are very cringy dialogue, and they're just, I feel, not that different than the prequels.
And everyone's going to get around realizing that JJ is just a fucking rip-up artist. At first they act like, this is brilliant. Thank you, JJ. I got my childhood back. But it's the same shit. And I kind of hate the Star Wars fucking audience for turning on George Lucas.
Yeah, it is kind of mean.
I would never in a million years have turned on John Lennon, would have never turned on David Bowie. There was times I'm like, I don't get where this album's at. Neil Young put out albums I didn't get, but I never acted like he fucking owed me something.
Yeah.
That's the baby bird mentality of Star Wars fans. Makes me sick.
And, the nostalgia is 90% of that. It's like 90%. So when I watch them, it's not like I watch them and I was like, oh, they're actual shit. I was like, I'm aware that what I feel is the way I felt when I watched it when I was a little kid. But I know that if those came out today, I would not be... There's no way I would be like, oh man, I love this new Star Wars movie. Have
I
you
will
seen
tell
it?
you now, no adults did that back in the 70s.
Right.
You know what I mean? That was for teens down. The problem is now, if you were 15 and you saw that in 77, 78, you're in your fucking 50s now. You shouldn't be going over every little fucking speck of a movie.
Yeah.
That's made for children. And that's where Lucas made the mistake. He made the prequels for children. They'll love Jar Jar Binks. But in the meantime, why is everybody acting that they like soccer robot, which fucking added nothing.
BB-8.
He was really cute, though. So cute.
But it didn't add anything other than buy this toy. It's fucking cynical. It's cynical. Everything about it.
I mean, I agree with you because I grew up a Trekkie. I went to Star Trek conventions, so I never, from a young age, I always just hated Star Wars.
That surprises me. I did not.
Now, who was your favorite on Star Trek? Then your favorite era?
I would say 7 of 9. She was the blonde girl she's the Borg. I met her and I met William Shatner. Like I went to convention, I went in in a onesie, and she was so cool.
Now, one time I took the kids out west and we did the studio tour, right? And I think it was the last Star Trek that they did. But as you can walk around the studios there, and there were Star Trek people just standing outside smoking.
That's great.
They were
in uniform?
they were in uniform. There was
were
a
on break.
Yeah, and all of them were just like, I don't know. I think this week I'm going out to a club. And we just walked by them, and none of them were famous.
No,
but it was the coolest. I mean, it was the most Hollywood feeling that you could have.
It was such a surreal look. It was very similar to the way, do you remember years ago they did a photo shoot of the Mad Men, but it was backstage, and they were they had their phones out. So
they're doing modern shit.
Yeah, so they were looking at their laptop or something, looking at an iPad. So they were on the set. They're in the same costume, but they were like, oh my God, these people do live in the modern day, and I don't think about it.
Did you see that the white-haired guy is on Veep this season from Mad Men?
Oh, Sterling.
Yeah. He just banged Veep. So
lucky.
It's
both of them, I'll say. They're both
went
lucky.
all around.
I think he's the lucky one. I think Veep is the hottest fucking thing on the planet.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
She's unbelievable.
Crazy sexy.
She's crazy sexy. You'll love this scene then, because they both come out and it's just all mussed up hair. Like you don't see the sex, but it's really sexy that you see these two people, almost having taboo sex, like they're not supposed to. And she's like, "Oh, let me show you down the office." They don't even mention it to each other, but they both know where they're going to.
I think she could be our hottest sitcom star of all time. I think I don't think that you could have a hotter sitcom. All right, we need to break, but I want to quickly say, vote on which movie, which was the best pick.
All right, I'm going. Well, let's go through everybody's. Joe. No, you know what? I am going to Forrest Gump. I'm going to give it to Forrest Gump. What?
Elf.
You hate Elf?
You know what? Thank you for saying that, Cashmere.
I'm here for you. You know I'm here for you.
I wish so much that I could vote for my own, which would be Forrest Gump, but I cannot. But if I didn't, I would say Elf.
Wow.
I'm going to say Elf.
We're all converting. Yeah.
Wow, I'm shocked by this.
Elf.
All right. I'm going to say Forrest Gump because it is ridiculous.
I'd never turn my back on Elf. I'm going with Forrest Gump.
All right, that's a tie.
God, that's a tie.
While you're leading this thing, you get to break it.
All right. I am going to pick my own Forrest Gump.
All right, that's fair. Why is that goddamn?
You didn't pick Elf.
I wanted Elf to win.
You jumped in.
Coming up in just a little bit, it's Unmasked with Carrot Top. We'll be right back. Bennington.
Bennington is back on Cashmere's last day
No.
on the Bennington show.
No.
He's got to go, guys. He's got to go.
I'm going to miss him less after that shit he said about Elf and the fact that he got other people to follow him in. Only me and Vito stayed true.
I know, you and Vito were really hurt.
Even Joe was like, well, I'm going to pick Gump, but yeah, Elf does blow. You know what I mean? Like, I fucking, I don't know where that came from.
I know, as soon as we broke, you guys were like, what were you guys talking about?
I know, he's very upset.
And how could you say that about Elf?
Disrespectful to the lobby here.
I forgot.
Everyone says that's in our lobby, and I never see it.
That this is supposed to be the Elf lobby?
I think it's actually across the street. It's the scene where he goes, where he is like, oh, look at this big, beautiful tree. And she's like, no, there's a better one across the street. I'm pretty sure it's actually the building across from here.
It makes me hate it.
Why are we saying? Yeah, now I really do hate it.
I wish
I told you. I knew that. I thought you guys all knew that.
No. There's plenty I don't know. There's plenty I don't know. Hey, coming up in a little bit, it's Unmasked with Carrot Top. I think you're going to get a kick out of this. He plays it pretty straight up. It's kind of cool.
I actually think that we met the real Carrot Top. That's what it felt like sitting there. I felt like I was seeing this guy for the first time, despite the fact that he's been a huge star my entire life. I feel
one
like
of the biggest, one of the most well-known people in the country. That you could say just this name, and people know who you're talking about.
And also, don't forget, GPS premieres tomorrow. GPS Manchester, 3 p.m. On Deep Tracks, Channel 27. So tune in. Dear God, tune in. Now, before we broke, I made the statement. Julia Louis-Dreyfus, who you all know
very well,
is our sexiest sitcom star of all time. And I stand by it.
Me too.
Who do you think is the sexiest? Joe.
I have one sexier than her. And this is the one that my friends and I, she was the epitome of sexy.
Oh, I'm excited to hear this
sitcom stars.
Tell me.
It's going to be definitive.
Wow.
We're going to end this question right here because of Joe.
Big talk.
It is the actress who played Hillary from The Fresh Prince. She is the sexiest.
This is ridiculous.
I
First
remember
of all, you
she's
don't even
very
know
attractive.
her name. You have to say the actress who played Hillary.
Yeah.
That doesn't make you a big star.
Not the
Put her up.
sexiest.
Look, she's sexy, but she was also
I found her annoying.
Like,
Her
she was
character
annoying.
annoying as fuck.
No.
Hated
She
Hillary.
was
Tyra Banks
great.
was on that show.
That's a good fucking show. She wasn't even the sexiest star on that show.
Oh, you dick.
Tyra Banks ain't shit compared to Hillary.
You're
This
out of
was
your mind.
This
No,
was
man.
the one.
Hillary was a fucking uptight
Dude,
bitch.
you guys...
That's seriously what she was. She was fucking
Look,
awful.
I'm going to say this, and I'm going to date myself, but I don't care because we have to look at all time, not just something. You guys tend to look at something when you were 8.
Yeah.
Please look at the entire spectrum. This is somebody who killed in the 60s, 70s, and 80s. Very sexy, without once even trying to push it. Mary Tyler Moore.
Oh, yeah. She
was Laura Petrie. She fucking was the first person to wear like yoga pants. And people were crazy.
I know.
She was big on a show before that where she just answered. You never even saw her. You just saw her legs and her on the phone. And then, of course, the first single woman.
Yeah.
Well, she was kind of like supposed to be divorced.
Single.
Yeah, because you know what? I just fucking thought to myself, Marlo Thomas might be sexier. That girl.
I know. I
might
love
have just
Marlo
ruined
Thomas.
myself. Did anybody else have that name? Then I get 2. I don't know how I'm doing it.
Yeah.
Double
I get
trouble.
2. Yeah.
And what about Rhoda?
But yeah.
Throw her in there, too.
Yeah.
Rhoda.
They're all winners.
Well, if you watch when Rhoda was on Mary Tyler Moore, she was very frumpy. But like, yeah, she would be like, "Where are you going out? I'm just sitting here eating a big block of cheese."
I love Rhoda.
When she got her own show, she became sexy.
Yeah, then
when
she was-
got to be the sexy.
Because she was, I always loved Rhoda.
Yeah.
Because she was stylish and cool. She was a weirdo. I dug.
No, I could get it. It was a gypsy New York City look.
All right, young Master Vito, who is your sexy sitcom star?
It is Alyssa Milano, who I had the pleasure of meeting on October 22nd, 2013.
Now, the problem with Alyssa Milano, was she the star? I mean, I'm going to say the same thing. I think you've got to be, your name has to almost be above the title to be a star.
Yeah, but also, like, she was, like, underage on that show, too, right? We're talking about Who's the Boss.
Yeah, but he was underage.
Yeah, he's allowed because he was
young.
There was a horrible thing that happened that she put out an exercise tape called Teen Steam
Yeah.
that sold 1 million copies, all to middle-aged men.
Yes.
Where men were just watching her.
She was not
work
aware.
out. Yeah, and she didn't know.
That she was being teen steamed
And guys,
all over the
I feel like the
nation.
people who named it knew that was going to
Yes.
happen.
Yeah, it should have been Teen Stained.
There it is.
Should have been the name of it.
There it is.
It's like Teen Steam 14. It just
Yeah.
sounds like a porn title.
Of course, it's like in her bedroom, too.
Yeah. And there was no internet.
Aw.
Yeah, so just seeing her do this.
Fucking mail order VHS.
Yeah.
Has that been released on DVD?
Hey, did
yet?
you guys see this guy in Brooklyn who's taking new films and making them into VHS?
No.
Yeah, it's up on the iBang now. It is it's the coolest thing that I've ever seen. That he just
So it's like the
takes-
quality of VHS.
Well, it's the quality, but then he also does the packaging. Look
that's
it up,
great.
Chris. You'll find it. It's like one of the coolest things you'll ever see. And like somebody was calling it like hipsters, time 10. But some of the hipster stuff can be cool. And I've always liked those alt movie posters.
Yeah. I think like the quality of VHS, like it's very weird to look back and think like, oh my God, that's how we used to watch movies. But there is something very comforting about it when you see it and you're like, this is familiar and nice and so shitty, the quality.
I'm telling you, I don't know if you could go into a place and feel as good as you've just got the thing as it was released to Blockbuster, and it's not going to be around all weekend.
Yeah.
And you got it. Like this weekend, it would probably be the Star Wars thing, right?
Right.
If they were doing it. So you go into a Blockbuster, and you'd be able to grab that, and you'd feel about yourself like as good as you could feel. Like you accomplished something. All right, so what are some of the ones that he's put up?
All right, he has Nightcrawler, which looks great.
Oh
And
my God, that looks
does
amazing.
the full packaging, alt picture, and then all the stuff on the back. And that stuff feels like on a cellular level,
God.
so familiar to us.
Nightcrawler is perfect for that. It
Yeah.
looks like that's amazing. I love it. I want that.
All right, it's up on the iBang if you want to check it out. So
And The Force Awakens.
it's very, very cool. And what's the one next to it?
It's just the back of The Force Awakens.
Oh, okay.
So they
cool.
like have the photos like they did. That's so
Look at the
great.
Birdman.
This
And-
guy's the man who did this.
Because that really looks like you're like, Mom, can we rent Birdman, please?
No, that's not for you. You're going to get a cartoon. Remember how long, like, you kids would take before you picked the
Oh
tape?
my God, I
You were
love
so
going to Blockbuster.
freaked about it.
And you'd be standing there like holding like 3 different ones and you
Yeah.
knew that you could only take one home.
You know what pissed me off, too? Is when Blockbuster out at the expense of movie candy. Because then the kids would come over to the candy and you're like, we have candy at home. That
We don't have Bunch of Crunch.
Bunch of Crunch and popcorn.
So good. All right, Chris Stanley, what
Spring
is your...
Breakers is excellent too. Look at that.
I want to buy that right now and then go buy a VHS.
Chris, who's your sexy sitcom?
You know what? I always found Courtney Cox the sexiest of all the Friends.
What? Courtney Cox, I love you. You're so hot on that show. You're a South Park fan. How do you not know that?
How do you not understand that Jennifer Aniston is on
I understand Jennifer Aniston's on the show, but I thought Courtney Cox was sexier. Jennifer Aniston might be hotter.
Okay.
Oh, that's crazy talk. If you look like which one of them would be great in bed?
Yeah, I figure.
Jennifer Aniston. Look, here's the thing. Above Courtney Cox, and I'm not trying to be insulting, Jennifer Aniston and Joey. Both.
Come on.
I'll put Phoebe. I'll take Phoebe.
I
any
was
day
attracted to Phoebe, yeah.
That's not
Phoebe makes me feel like a little too uneasy. Like, Phoebe could do something weird like...
She'll stick a finger in your butt, for sure.
Well, not only that, but wouldn't agree that you broke up.
she's too crazy putty.
Yeah, she's a very crazy, beautiful woman, crazy putty, and doesn't quite even seem like she gets the jokes.
All right, before we vote, I'm gonna do something. I'm gonna throw another name in because I'm so shocked that nobody put this.
All right, that seems cheating, but okay.
I'm gonna throw it in there. Christina Applegate. How does no one put Christina Applegate? She's like the sexiest sex symbol from the 90s of sitcoms.
You don't think, and I don't want to be mean here, but you don't think it was ruined by the breast reconstruction? I mean, I think that's why no one brought it up. We just didn't want to say it.
Come on.
Yeah.
Why did you make it feel uncomfortable now?
All right, let's vote.
Cashmere, did you pick yours?
Oh, you didn't pick yours.
I think I'll change a game because I'm a little messing messenger. And Deborah Messing and Will and Grace made you think about redheads a little differently. Yeah.
Great hair.
You know, first of all, she's crazy sexy. She's stunningly sexy. And did you ever see that movie where she's on the beach with Ben Stiller? They get married, they go to the beach. So then the guy walks up and it's a nude beach. And the way she keeps looking up at his cock, there's the picture right there. That has a chick that's ready to party.
She is down.
She's a love god. I think she's crazy, fucking sexy. The other one that did our show before, and it's not Will and Grace, but there's a name that was the same.
Dharma and Greg.
Yeah.
Dharma came in here for another reason.
Jenna Elfman.
Crazy sexy. She came into our show. Taller than you would ever expect.
She seems like she would have a sexy energy about her.
She has a sexy energy about her, and we weren't ready for it. I don't know what she was even in to promote. Do you, Chris?
I can't remember.
But I really was thinking...
It's fucking hot, though.
Man, I like to run off with Dharma, even though she's into Scientology.
I like that all of our picks have been women, because for men, for sitcoms, like Kevin James or Costanza for me.
I'm going to say, if we're going to talk about guys, the entire world fell in love with Alan Alda when he did MASH, up to the point where that was the new way of being a man. It was like the first man who didn't hate women, and that when people would get mad, they would say, the way that we say PC today, they would bring up Alan Alda's name. What is this, some fucking Alan Alda bullshit?
Yeah. I did not know that.
Yeah, like guys, during the Reagan years, they would fight back against it if you tried to give them a salad. And like, I'm not fucking Alan Alda.
Weird.
You know? Yeah.
I did not know that.
Yeah, but he was incredibly well-loved. And, well, he's a great actor, but there's also just something about him that women dug. And he was, like, married and not interested, you know, and which makes women like it even more.
Oh, yeah, that's very attractive to women.
That's why people like Chris.
Oh, yeah,
you know?
that's exactly
That's
why.
your thing, right, Chris?
Yep, monogamy.
How do you feel about your chick?
Love her. Love her more than anything.
Huh.
It's weird.
It is weird.
Yeah. Almost sad.
On that note, let's all vote on the sitcom stars.
I'm going to go first, and I'm going to say I'm picking Deborah Messing.
Wow, I'm surprised.
And I never watched the show, even once.
I am going to go with your pick, Miss Mary Tyler Moore.
Wow.
I'm going with Alyssa Milano, Vito's pick.
That's disgusting.
You're too old.
We give
for
him...
her TV show Teen Steam, right?
You're fucking terrible.
You're gross.
You're disgusting.
I wish your TV dad would come in and punch you, and he would. He fucking would.
Fuck me up.
Mary's gonna make it after all. She's
gonna make it after all. Bam, 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 bam.
I'm disappointed in Chris, and I'm gonna say Alyssa Milano.
That's disgusting.
Oh my God.
Oh no, did Vito? Did you go?
I did not vote yet.
Yeah. I'm
gonna have to go with Mary Tyler Moore as well.
That's the winner, Mary Tyler Moore.
You sexy thing, you.
And I'll tell you the truth. Watch the old Dick Van Dykes. I think she was even sexier as Laura Petrie. Like, it was...
Really?
Crazy sexy. Crazy sexy. I think it helps if you're a dancer, but you never dance and you just see you walk that way. Oh, yeah. I mean, the minute you start to dance, everyone's like, oh, God.
Oh, just stop. But if you have that dancer's posture...
Yeah.
You're like, she seems like she can move.
Well, Chris has a drinker's posture, which I think works.
He does. He does. It's the slump shoulder look.
Yeah.
Eyes always gazing downward.
Half fucking closed.
Another thing that was sexy about her on that show is she would start to cry. Everybody likes a woman that can cry
and
well.
a good crier, too.
Yeah.
Like, you have to be a pretty crier.
Yeah.
Like, you can't be one who, like, is all teeth and, like, scary.
You know who cries like that? Oddly enough, John Cryer. And you're just like, you have the name. How do you not pull it off?
You think that you would have figured that out.
By the way, John Cryer shows up on Netflix, The Ranch, and it's starring that's the 70s show kid stars in it.
Ashton Kutcher.
Ashton Kutcher, thank you.
He's a Topher. He's a Topher Grace.
This could be your favorite person from that. But they don't even, so they're both in it together. They had just done a sitcom last year. There's not even the slightest wink at the camera or bringing it up. It's just a character that he comes in and plays correctly. What? Yeah. I was ruined by it. I was like, I got to make sure I find out when they both say something from the old show and turn around and look at the camera.
Do it.
Nothing.
Right? This is so much fun, but I'm going to miss Cashmere so much.
Everybody's going to miss Cashmere. That song yesterday that he did, you know?
Blew my brain out.
Why don't we end the show with it today, too? We'll play it one
Oh,
more
that
time.
would be nice. I would love to hear it again.
After the Unmasked, yeah.
But this is kind of like our Breakfast Club show. Like, we're all sitting around and just reminiscing of time.
Yeah. Breakfast Club did that, didn't they? Are you setting up a Breakfast Club bit?
No, I wasn't.
I really thought that you were.
I thought
it was going to be favorite person from the Breakfast Club.
No, I mean, we can, but I was going to go in a different direction.
Favorite breakfast cereal?
Jeez, okay, I'm just going to change. I was going to go with a sports question.
Oh, yeah! Finally for us.
Yes,
man. Yeah! Touchdowns!
Cashmere just yelled touchdown.
I know.
40-mile yard.
I'm with the team.
Touchdown, right, guys?
Pork rinds.
Big foam finger.
That is my favorite thing, and I don't even want to watch on TV. Vikings lose.
Yes.
Oh, no. What is the greatest sports team of your lifetime?
Holy shit.
Of your lifetime.
Kind of team.
Jesus Christ.
Name a team.
Ooh, boy.
All right. I'm going to let that sink in. Let it marinate.
Simmer.
Who looks like they have their... Vito looks like he has his...
sports guy, yeah.
He's a sportsman.
So for me, it would actually be this year's Warriors team because I've never been a big basketball guy before. Mm-hmm. But in the first week of the season, my friend was like, yeah, you got to watch these games. It's a different kind of basketball. And I thought basketball was a boring stop-and-go sport. This season, I've watched almost every single game because I just can't stop watching it. They play a completely different style. It's just so entertaining to watch. And then Steph Curry is just... It's so cool to watch somebody in your era do something this big.
Is this a strange thing, though, that you agree maybe a little bit with his choice, but then his logic is stupid and ridiculous? There's nothing stop and go about it.
Yeah.
Any sport.
Well, look, I mean, that's not even the fucking greatest of his... Well, what year were you born?
I was born in 92.
See, here's the thing with that, though. It's very rare for me to say... I don't think you can say something that just happened is the greatest of all time. You know what I mean? And
That's a youthful look at the world.
When people do it, well, it's also just a lack of knowledge, you know? Because what are the odds that the greatest singer whoever sang just put out their first album this year? The odds are against it, right? So that's my beef with that.
The greatest team would be, it's in basketball now, still, the 92 Dream Team. Where they fucking destroyed everyone.
That was actually...
They destroyed the world.
The thought that completely came to my mind was... This thought came to me because I was thinking, I don't think that there could be a bigger team than that team. First of all, the fact that I knew all of them and I was a young girl who didn't watch basketball, it just shows you how big it was in the country that suddenly everybody was talking about them.
Well, let's just see who would win, the 92 Dream Team or the Golden State Warriors. With their bad need fucking shooter.
I suppose that depends on the month you were born, Vito. Were you born?
I mean, I think that you could take anyone, a caveman, bring him in, and just look at the lineup, and that team's better. But I would say, is that cheating? Because it's an all-star team that was put together solely to go out and destroy the rest of the world?
Against a weak world field, really. I mean, it's not like it is today.
Well, it was weak. The reason why the world is stronger is because of that Dream Team. That not only did we fall in love with them, but the countries that they destroyed fell in love with them. They're like, we're going to start work towards having our own Dream Team.
I think it still counts. They were the team.
Yeah. Okay.
What about you, Joe?
I am going to say another basketball team, but the 96 Bulls. They set themselves up for 3 championships. They had the best record that year. They had the greatest player to ever play basketball on that team.
They had the same guy as the Dream Team, and he was 4 years older.
Yeah, so your fucking answer sucks.
I mean, seriously, 2 healthy teams, who's going to win? 2 of the players that you have are on the Dream Team.
Yeah. I mean, well, okay, Dennis Rodman, one of the best rebounders of all time. Not on the Dream Team.
Yes.
He would out-rebound
So
Charles
that's the
Barkley.
thing. Dennis Rodman is the only fucking guy, and you think that he's better than...
Barkley was on the fucking goddamn Dream Team.
Yes, he was.
Yeah, he
Come
was.
on. And riding Pine, right? Wasn't a starter on that fucking team. Magic Johnson was on that team.
Larry Bird.
Pippen
on that team.
Yes.
Scottie Pippen.
Tony Kukoc.
Scottie Pippen was on both teams.
Oh, yeah, that's right.
Kukoc was not... he played on...
Played on the Bulls.
Yeah, but he also played against them, and they went out and stuffed him on purpose to fuck with him because he was going to come into Chicago. People were mad at that point of the Dream Team.
All right.
Yeah, your logic is ridiculous.
Who is your pick for greatest team of your lifetime?
Well, first of all, I have to sit around and hear nothing but basketball. The 85 Bears are the greatest team that I personally ever saw. They had the greatest season. Now, they're not the team of that decade because they only won it once. But that year, you were looking at an unstoppable rock star fucking team that dominated. And when they got to the Super Bowl, it was actually embarrassing. It was anticlimactic.
Yeah.
It was terrible.
And they also had like big personalities on that team, right? Like
every guy on the team, this is a football team, had an outside fucking deal for a TV or radio show.
That's insane.
44 TV and radio shows came out of it. They were just bigger than life. Now, I know it doesn't fit in the basketball world where we seem to be
I
now.
know.
But,
now,
go ahead.
I was going to say, Kashmir, what is your... Because I know you're not a sportsman always.
I'm going to zip up my no, what are they? I don't even know what they're called. The roller blades. They're not roller blades, but the 03 Devils. Because I skated with them.
Devils.
Yeah.
Little devils.
They're devils, yeah.
I don't even think we need to vote on this one because I think it's pretty clearly... The Dream Team has got to be the biggest
I'm going
one.
to agree and say the Dream Team. And it didn't occur to me because they were an all-star team, but they are an Olympic team. Greatest team ever.
Congratulations.
I vote for the Bears.
Thank you, my friend. Now, did everybody else agree with him and vote for Dream Team? Or
No, I voted for the Bears because I think it's bullshit.
Wait a minute.
He chose that answer. That's like if we were talking about superpowers and you were like, I wish I had all the superpowers. That's my superpower. Can't pick an all-star team.
Best team of my generation.
Well, first of all, are they really an all-star team or are they an Olympic team?
They were taken from all of the best places to be on one team. That's not a naturally built
Yeah, but
team.
that's how Olympic teams are built.
You could say that's true of any team. That, we went and got the best players we possibly could.
Right.
Now, they had the best players in the world playing a world sport. But I'm seeing the 85 Bears coming back more and more, Gail, which means you were too quick to get this out.
I was too quick. All right, let's see.
Let everybody vote. 85 Bears, raise your hands.
I voted too.
Guys, it's
shit! That's insane. I thought for sure
God damn it!
I thought the dream team had it.
Well, let them play football against the Bears. That's all.
That doesn't seem fair.
And I've got to tell you, my favorite thing is Sweetness. Never got a chance to score. Fuck them.
Sweetness is the best name.
Yeah, it is.
I would love for you guys to start calling me Sweetness.
All right, we'll do that. By the way, I really think that the best team of all time, I was going to pick them, but no one else was going to. 4 Horsemen. Yeah. 4 Horsemen. Throw up 4.
All right, we're going to break here, and when we come back... Oh, no, that's going to be a little later in the show. We're going to do our Unmasked.
We're going to have our Unmasked. We'll come back and pick this up, though.
All right, sounds good.
This is fun. Think of some more questions.
What's the question? Do another one.
Get another one.
Think of another one.
This is when Stalker Patty came over to my house one night, and we were barbecuing. And then she, I was doing a little trivia with everyone to have fun.
Yeah.
And then she kept saying all night,
do another one. How about another one? And it was going on for a very long time.
She came down, this is when we were living in D.C., and she stayed at Fez's house. And he was so mad at me that he brought her over for dinner. After they went around and saw all the marble and limestone of D.C. Do another one.
Do another one.
And I started to get mad, like, hey, I'm not your fucking pet, Patty, okay? I'm just the guy who's willed for you and can come up and keep the party
Think of
going.
another question, though.
Because it was all stuff about presidents.
Yes.
She was so happy. She loves presidential trivia. Right back, Bennington.
Bennington is back. And we have a huge surprise.
What's that?
What?
Jam Band has come in.
Sup, dogs?
This fucking guy comes in on his day. Yeah, the last goodbye. His day of rest.
Look at him.
Look at this kid.
He's here. Look at him.
Oh, guys.
Great to see you, buddy.
This is so sweet. This is such a nice surprise.
We're going to miss Jam Band. We're going to miss Kashmir. But I have a weird feeling this isn't the end.
Yeah.
Remember, for a while, we said goodbye to Joey. Then for a while, we said goodbye to Vito.
Yeah.
Never say goodbye to fucking Chris. He's like fucking dog shit on my shoe.
Come on.
No, but I mean it in a good way.
Oh, good.
Yeah,
Thank
like
you.
a nice-
Thank
you
you.
get dog shit on your shoe. It sticks and it smells and it stinks.
Yeah, it's bad.
you know?
That's all. Those are bad things, though.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. It's
but
like a
you said-
poison.
You said it was a good way, though.
But this is great. We got the gang back together.
So there it goes. Beauty school dropout. All right, well, good. Hey, Carrot Top, a mask coming up next, and then something's happening Saturday. I can't remember what it is.
It's GPS Manchester.
Oh, count me in.
It's this Saturday, 3 p.m. Deep Tracks Channel 27, and it's our last GPS with Jam Band.
I don't want to believe that. I
know.
don't believe it.
I mean, it doesn't have to be.
It doesn't have to be.
It doesn't have to be.
Nothing has to change.
No.
You know?
Everything's going to be the same, right, guys?
Is this Grease or Grease 2 that you keep doing?
Grease 1.
Okay. I've only seen Grease 2. Is the first
great.
Grease good?
Is it Grease 2?
Dino remembered that line.
That was the cutest
Yeah.
thing ever.
We were walking down the street, fucking 49th Street, New York. We're over on the west side.
Old school.
And it was right after Hell's Kitchen.
yeah, a couple
right?
of good fellas hanging out.
A couple of good puppets. And there is a little kid who looks at his mom because they just done Grease on TV, the play.
Grease Live.
And he went, there's a Grease too? And like Like, if it was possible for a 7-year-old to just start jizzing all over, he would have.
Thank God that science has not caught up.
Yet. Where did we get that robot come? But you know what? Let's have a little fun here, Gail. Let's just have, you know what I mean? Got a bunch of good puppets, a bunch of wise puppets.
A little fun with the fellas.
Yeah.
You know, I was just talking to Vito.
Oh, good.
About a concept that he had come up with the other day.
All right, let's hear this, Vito.
I was watching, like, the National Geographic channel.
You know why? Because you're a fucking smart kid. You're always looking for information.
He likes to learn.
Yeah, he likes to
fill
learn.
his head with information.
Hey, let's keep these voices going. It's really fun.
I like to keep the knowledge flowing. And,
So what you see on there? Bear? What was it?
What is a hawk?
It was this
Flying creature?
hunter-gatherer period.
Okay.
And I was thinking to myself,
So?
would I be comfortable hunting for my own food, or would I rather just be a vegetarian?
So we should try to guess what you would do? Is that your game that you're playing?
I can't guess what he thinks.
No more guessing games from this guy.
Yeah.
And I realized to myself, I was like, you know what? I totally think I'd rather go out there and kill some cows, kill some coyotes, and just eat them up and, like, cooking on a little fire.
Let's get this straight. The only reason why I don't hunt is because I don't have to. That's why I don't hunt.
Yeah.
I would be hunting in a fucking heartbeat.
But I'm saying you have to.
Yes. To get food.
You would
Or
choose.
you could be a vegetarian.
Well, first of all, does that mean that I have to grow it?
No, you can just go pick it up.
No, that's
still hunting in a way.
Well, it's
Gather.
hunting and gather.
Gather, yeah.
But do I have a garden too, or do I just go to the market?
No, it's just like you're just going out there and you're just like, oh, there's some leaves. I'm going to grab
That's
those
not how it
leaves.
fucking works, dude. Gathering is as difficult as hunting.
But the plants can't run away.
All right, let's say this.
You gotta know where the plants are and then plant them. You know what I mean? Like, you don't go through the wood and then you find a stalk of corn.
It's
You're like,
agriculture,
oh, good.
Lucky.
Yeah. Oh, and there's some potatoes. This is the side dish part of this
I'm
thing.
foraging for corn.
You gotta know where the horse is, and you have to chase after the horse.
You're not going to eat a fucking horse.
Why am I
dude.
killing a horse and eating it?
No fucking.
That's
Yeah,
disgusting.
is it the blizzard of '69? First of all, this is why we don't give the fucking questions around, because he doesn't even know what farming is. So I guess what he's asking the room: would you rather be a hunter or a gatherer? Kashmir.
I'm gonna go gathering just because I would die immediately if I tried to hunt. I think I would kill myself.
Why do you think you can't hunt?
Because I would try and I would hit an animal and it would be like a little okay, then I'd feel bad, and then all of its friends would probably swarm me.
But you feel good when you sit down and eat a burger. You don't feel like bad about it.
I'm just, and also I'm a little when you're eating, that's a time for fun. And is it like that much fun if you have to be sweaty and then prepare it?
Okay.
And then, and you're like, oh, cool, there's a burger now. You're like, I'm tired. Let's go to bed.
So
Right. It's a time for fun.
Yeah. It's when you check in with you.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
All right, so you're a vegetarian. What about you, Jim Ben?
I'm going to go ahead and say, forget about all those twigs and berries and shit. I'm hunting.
Only.
Oh, you
meat.
could eat shit? I didn't know
Yeah.
that.
This fucking guy. This fucking guy, the ballbuster.
You eat pieces of shit for breakfast?
Young and restless. All right, we got a gatherer, hunter. Chris, I'm going to guess lay down and die or try to live on meth.
So,
A man can't live on meth and meth
I don't have
alone.
to eat on this.
Yeah.
I'm going to be a hunter, but I'm going to sustain
can't.
myself mostly on probably dogs and like rats.
God.
Like I'm not going out for a cow.
All right, by the way,
These small animals.
it's not going to be as easy to find dogs if you're hunting them. You know what I mean? The second they realize, like, a fucking deer would be as nice as a dog if no one shot at it. You know what I mean? So, dogs are going to fucking catch on. First couple dogs, sure.
Yeah.
You're going to get them easy. After that, forget about it.
I mean, it's New York.
And rats, I doubt if you could even hit one of those fuckers.
I don't think I got a lot of rocks.
Joe, what about you?
I'd be a hunterer because I need to distract myself when I do cardio. So hunting all those wildebeest or what have you.
So
Wildebeest.
fucking
Weirdo. Talking about?
I would
Fucking
need.
weirdo.
He said hunter and
You know what he's
wildebeest.
saying? Here's what he's actually saying. Hey, fuck Vito and his idea. I'm making fun of it.
Yeah,
The rest of us took it seriously.
We took it really
Even though you
serious.
couldn't have been dumber the way you set it up and think that you just walk around and find side dishes.
Got mocked out, bro.
because I'm so focused on hunting animals, I'm not even thinking about those other gatherer people.
That's what you need to focus before you ask the question, though. All right? That's the thing. And by the way, no matter how hard you hunt, you're not going to shoot a meatball. So you got to figure out where food comes from.
I clearly am a gatherer. And I would have to just stay vegetarian until I marry up and find someone to hunt for me.
Why don't you do this? Why don't you go for shellfish? That could be your thing.
Oh, it's good.
You're crabbing, you're getting
fisherwoman.
oysters. Yeah. You're, as they say, you're a waterman down on the Chesapeake Bay. You'll get oysters for yourself.
Nice.
Clams, crabs. And you know what? Pheasant flies over, shoot that fucker too. You know, as we used to play in the old days, it's duck, duck, gray duck.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Pescatarian. That'll be my new
Tammy.
thing.
Yeah, she's great.
No, that's pescatelli.
Oh, it is?
Yeah.
She'll make you something nice.
The fishmonger.
She's gonna. Hey, fishmonger.
What? It's a good thing.
You're talking about the pony? Is that it?
No.
All right, take
Chris.
us to it. Let's fucking wash our palate clean of this insane fucking veto idea.
Yes.
You know, Jam Band, before you got here, everything was going along smooth.
It was going really
it made
nice.
sense.
Like fun.
And then Gail's
It's
like,
not your fault.
I know, let's let Forrest Gump pick a fucking thing.
Yeah, I was picking them all day.
Oh, yeah, we're doing great. We're gathering.
I was doing so good with that.
Yeah, you were gathering.
I was
premises.
gathering ideas. All right, I have a premise for you.
Do's it.
What is the stupidest invention?
I'll just say this. Racism. The invention of racism.
Amen.
Yeah. Yeah.
That was beautiful.
We're all equal in love.
Bravery!
In Jesus' love.
Someone's just yelling bravery.
All right. This one, you know, this will be a vote one. Where are you going?
I'm gonna say Chris Stanley.
Oh, Jesus.
I'll tell you right now, the Nutcracker. It's fucking stupid. The hammer was around way before that, and it does the same fucking thing.
No, you say that, but nutcrackers have been around for hundreds of years, and people are happy. I mean, I thought we were going to be picking new inventions.
Yeah.
You know? Not nutcracker.
I was kind of thinking in our time, but you know what? I didn't specify.
Yeah.
They're useless.
Now, do you mean those metal ones, or do you mean like one that's like a doll's face that crunches nuts?
Both, because they're both the same thing.
I've never seen a play called The Hammer, Chris.
Oh! I guess he is stupid.
Fuck you, Joe.
Yeah.
At least I can fucking say Hunter.
Hey, you know the biggest nutcracker in the world? Chris Stanley's girlfriend. I mean, she's just busting those nuts all day. He's not even a man anymore, this guy.
The Nutcracker. Worst invention.
I was going to go for a new invention, but you got me thinking past. I like it.
I'm old school.
All right, let's go to Jam Band.
I think maybe the back scratcher is a really dumb invention.
You know why? Because you're young and limber, my friend. You're young and limber. One day you'll be, oh, that feels good.
Okay,
Couldn't
valid.
get that spot.
Now I can.
Cashmere.
I was gonna say carbs, am I right? But if we're staying more modern, I was gonna say the ShamWow, because I bought it once.
Yeah.
Was so excited. Nothing but disappointment.
Wow.
The ShamWow, yeah.
The
Remember we had the ShamWow guy on once?
Yeah, he was on for the slap chop,
Oh, yeah.
which was also a shitty invention.
Yeah, everything that guy does, he should be like, here I am with my latest lie.
It's made in Germany. They make great stuff there.
Wait, isn't that dude in jail?
Racist.
Oh, man.
Yeah, he has
Yeah,
problems.
he is.
Thanks for bringing
It's
it up.
interesting that you brought up mine is also a cleaning product. That I think not only is the stupidest invention, it's also the most overrated invention because it's beloved by people and I don't understand. The Swiffer. I'll say it. The
wrong with
Swiffer is stupid.
I never even knew somebody with one.
Everyone has them.
Oh, they do?
Everyone
Okay, then
has them.
everyone
You
I
have
know.
one, by the
I
way.
do? But I love it.
It's ridiculous. It doesn't even do a 16th of what a broom can do.
Can I just ask you a question, though? You think you're using it right?
I'm telling you I am.
Definitely not.
Seems like you don't know what you're doing with that Swiffer.
No, it is dumb. It doesn't make sense. It is slow. It's basically a duster for your floor.
Oh.
You can't really pick up stuff. And
No.
don't even get me.
You pushing it around.
Don't even get me started on Swiffer Wet.
Okay.
It's like a mop.
God.
What's wrong with that?
No, Swiffer Wet doesn't work. I'm tired of people.
it does.
It cleans
you
my
fucking
floors.
use it, and then it's dirty on the bottom. It's definitely
But
working.
then you have to take off you have to grab the dirty, disgusting thing that you
That's
just cleaned
filthy.
and throw it out.
It doesn't do enough.
That's
It
filthy.
doesn't do enough. And it's
By the way, he's fighting for it. I know he doesn't have anything in that fucking honeymooner's apartment of his.
There's no way.
With an icebox.
Yeah. If I worry about you, because when I was a kid, whenever I would see a rerun of The Honeymooners, I'd get queasy just thinking people live that dank and that dark, and now knowing it's Stanley.
That's your life.
Yeah.
There's nothing wrong with that. It's nice one room and a bedroom in there.
Is your girlfriend's name Alice?
No, it's not.
You're always threatening to knock her to the moon.
Joe, what's your stupidest invention?
The Snuggie. The Snuggie is...
What is it?
It's a blanket with sleeves.
What?
It's literally a blanket with sleeves.
Oh, we don't call it the Snuggie. We call it something else, right? What
No.
is it?
Slinket?
No, it's
Yeah, the Snuggie is the
It's just a blanket that you put your sleeves, but your arms through, right?
Yeah, it's like a...
Yeah.
It's almost like a backward coat.
Backward rope.
Really?
Yeah,
I mean,
backward
that's really
coat.
what it
Or a
is.
rope.
It's a backward coat.
No, we call it a hoodie footy.
A hoodie
That
foot?
isn't it. That's a completely different animal.
Yeah, that's different.
Snuggie.
Yeah, a Snuggie's something different. A Snuggie is like a blanket.
By the way, this thing is just for people who, they don't turn the heat up.
They kind of look like Friar Tucks.
Wait,
Really, look like
this guy is so happy to be in a
I know,
Snuggie.
that
And you know
changed his
what?
life.
You'll be warmer if you're not eating that ice cream.
Yes,
He's eating a sundae.
He's also rocking his class ring there. That's fucking cool.
Yeah, he is. It's really cool. 20 years out to be wearing a high school fucking prop.
Like you're comfortable.
Yeah.
You're comfortable enough to put on a Snuggie, but not enough to take off your class ring. It's a very specific mood he's in. Vito.
My stupidest invention, I saw it the other day for the first time, was a guy on an electric skateboard. And not only was it an electric skateboard, the battery pack was on the bottom of the skateboard, so it balanced itself too. So it was basically just a scooter with no handles that he didn't have to do anything on. He was just standing on it and moving down the street.
Did he have his arms crossed? Because I think that's the only way.
Was there a cord attached to it?
No.
Then it's not electric. It's fucking battery
But it
powered.
was just so lame. He was just walking out. He was rolling down
It's
the
a
street.
fucking... Is a scooter lame? That you sit on
It's
a bicycle?
cooler than an electric skateboard because you're
Oh,
fake.
first of all, we're talking about coolness. We're saying inventions that aren't fucking shit. A la the Swifter.
Swift is great. It's Nutcracker's the problem.
Shouldn't be riding a skateboard. if
All right,
you
I'll
can't
say
ride.
Not a
this.
problem. I'll tell you this right now. Nutcrackers are not a problem.
I was going to go new like you got, but he's got me thinking old school with the Nutcracker. And I'm going to say this. The clock is a piece of shit.
You're right. Fuck that non-digital bullshit.
I hate it. I don't understand why we divide it into 2 12s. Is it 2? No, it's 2. Any fucking kid now growing up just looks at a digital clock and must have thought I was a fucking maniac trying to learn how to count by fives in the fucking first grade.
I wish that it still didn't, like, even now, as an adult woman, it still takes me a moment. Like, if I'm looking at a clock, I'm, like, still kind of trying to figure out what time it is. Like, it's not a long time, but it's a couple beats too long where it's embarrassing. Where someone says, what time is it? And they're like, right there on the clock there. What does it say? And I'm like,
But remember when you had to do times tables? You always did the fives fastest because of the clock. You know, 5, 10, 15, 20, 25, 30, 35. That's the only one. But no one's there like 6, 12, 18, 24, 30. You know, it's fucking hot. But a clock is a piece of fucking garbage designed by a piece of fucking shit and just put out there so people will actually put small clocks on their wrists. Get away from it. Done. Get a fucking phone.
I vote for the clock. Fucking Nutcracker.
All right, I'm going to vote. I want to vote for the Swifter because Gail turned me around on this fucking disgusting thing of just pushing around the dirt.
Yeah, I'm gonna do that too because you brought me back to like the visual memory I had of picking up dirt, anything at the bottom ones. Yeah. Ugh.
Yeah, Swiffer, I guess.
Swiffer.
oh.
It's making me rethink my cleaning.
Joey?
The Swiffer doesn't work for me.
Yeah, Vito.
Joey will join a fucking... You know there's people who like they're swing voters and they just vote based on momentum? That's how this fuck is. So he's going to be a last second Clinton or fucking Trump guy.
Swiffer's doing really well right now.
Vito?
I'm gonna go clock because that shit fucked me up in first grade.
Yeah, well, you know what? Get over it. All right?
And now that we're on the subject, what's with a spinning Jenny? That's a terrible invention. Oh, you guys don't know what that is.
Is that a lazy Susan?
Spitting Jenny.
Was the early industrial revolution.
All right, Swifter's the piece of shit.
Fuck Swift.
Fuck Swiffers.
Yeah.
Big time.
I'd rather use an old fucking fatty pig fatty fucking shirt and just wipe around. All right, what's next?
All right. Next up, we have, would you rather live your life
Yes.
with with fake eyebrows or fake teeth
Oh shit.
for the rest of your life?
Can I have both? That's the big
For convenience. Cashmere.
Fake teeth. Yeah, then you don't have to brush it. You just save so much time.
It's nice. You get to soak them.
And you get to like, if they ever get a little dirty, you're like, I'll have new.
Definitely fake teeth, because women with fake eyebrows scare the shit out of me.
They are pretty fucking scary.
They can be scary. Joe.
Fake eyebrows. In a heartbeat.
Fake eyebrow. I didn't think any of the men would pick fake eyebrows.
Well, the reason why is because when I was a kid, The Rock could do the people's eyebrow, and I couldn't do it. And also, I can't emote sometimes the way I like to, or think that people understand. So I think
He's getting so sad.
We got different eyebrows.
Hold on.
What are you talking about?
You don't show emotions on your face?
yeah. Like my facial expressions mislead people about how I'm feeling at the time. So I feel like new eyebrows might change that for me.
Okay.
You know what might change it for you? Is a fucking knife in the back.
Do it.
Joe, give me sadness on your face.
Okay.
Oh, he's right. I didn't even get it.
Okay, that doesn't look any different. And the eyebrows are exactly the same.
He's a guy who looks like he never mourns. You know?
See, that makes me sad, but you guys can't tell right
But you
now.
know what? I think it has to do with being raised in the Midwest. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
They're not feeling people. They're cold.
No, you are a cold people.
Don't try to fucking hide behind those fake eyebrows. It's not fooling
Yeah, we're
me.
gonna see right through that shit.
Yeah.
Chris Stanley.
Eyebrows all day. I'm not taking anything out of my body and soaking it overnight.
You do it with your dick.
Ah, detachable penis.
It seems much easier to slap on a couple eyebrows in the morning as opposed to fucking putting teeth in.
I don't think it would be easier. Wait, hold
I'd
on.
make
What do you
it
mean
easy.
slap on? What are you gluing them? Is that what
Yeah,
you're...
whatever. However they work.
No, I was talking about drawing them on. You're going to glue your, like a bushy
writing them
brow?
on.
Can I take you guys up a notch? I'm going to tattoo my eyebrows. Done deal. Yeah.
Oh.
Oh my God. I did not even think of that as an option.
I might do it anyway.
But then you're going to be like Joe. Yeah, not able to emote.
I'm just going to do mine across and real big and thick, and then probably do a mustache to go with it, and then just spider walk wherever I go. When the duck comes down, you win some money.
Those eyebrows are weird, but he's so good at poker. I just don't know what he's thinking.
All right, did you do yours?
Vito.
Talking veneers or dentures?
Interesting. I will let you choose.
If it's veneers, I'm going veneers.
Who wouldn't take veneers?
What's the difference between veneers and dentures?
Veneers, you just put those, it's like what everybody in Hollywood does.
Yeah.
You know, Brad Pitt just sticks some teeth over top of his teeth.
Oh, fucking no. It has to be dentures.
I got to agree there. Veneers is going to be the way of the future no matter who you are.
So it's dentures, definitely?
Yeah.
I'll choose dentures because I'll play with them.
What? He still was in.
You know what? He's turned me around. I didn't think about the playing and scaring children.
You know, I have a friend who he works production in movies. He lives out in LA, and he said that people, you know, on the East Coast have no idea how insanely weird veneers are, that like everybody has them.
Yeah.
And it became so common with actors that people in production started to do it.
Sure.
So like not only do all the actors have veneers out there, like just like you'll look over at a boom operator with like giant white teeth.
Yeah.
Because they like, I guess you're like, you have really shitty teeth compared to everybody else with these giant white teeth.
It's so a lot of times it's not even noticeable. But there was a sitcom star that came in here that's all I could look at was these shiny glow-in-the-dark teeth the whole time I interviewed her.
Please write it down. I gotta know.
All right, I'll do that for
Okay.
you. Well, I got to do it right now?
No, you can do it later. I don't want anyone else to see.
Why? They can all see. There's
I want to see. I want to see. Show me.
We're
Show it to me.
real quick before we go to Unmasked, so we got to do a quick one here.
Quick one.
Yes.
Chris,
While she's away.
I'm going to throw it to you because you
Okay.
had one that you wanted to tell
All
me
right.
about.
All right, let's say animals had the intelligence of humans. Say animals are intelligent as humans.
Mm-hmm.
What animal would you trust the most to be the president of the United States? Or what would you be voting?
If you don't want to do this, just fucking say it.
I do want to do it. This is a real question.
Okay, a badger. You fucking feel like that this is an intelligent conversation?
I've made a huge mistake. Dog president for me,
Seriously.
obviously.
That's, for me, this ends it. Because if you're not going to take it serious, we can't play the game. And your thing was just too nuts.
I gotta tone it down.
I guess I'll switch my answer to Badger president, and we know Joe will too. He's a swing vote.
Fuck the Badger.
You don't. I thought that's where you're from.
No, I went to that was the rival high school, college mascot of the college I went to, the Wisconsin Badgers. So I hate the Badger.
So the natural enemy of the Badger is the Snoopy?
No, it's the Golden Gopher.
Yeah, Gail.
That's maybe the worst. That's maybe the worst mascot, though. That was you, right? Like your
Snoopy,
school was
yeah.
the Snoopies?
Yeah,
the
proud of
fighting
it.
Snoopies. Oh my God. It was just
That's
written
the person
down.
with the glow-in-the-dark teeth.
Oh shit!
Wow.
Very attractive lady, but those were shocking. We got to take a break, and we'll be back. And you're going to hear an unmasked. It's very, very different. Carrot Top, and he literally brings the mask down himself, and you meet the guy who plays the Carrot Top. It's kind of a brilliant thing. But we want to take just a second to say goodbye to our guys, but hopefully not forever, you know?
Yeah, please.
Kashmir and Jam Band.
Yeah, please come back, guys, because I can't believe that this is it. But I don't believe it. You have to come back.
You know what? Why don't we do an unplugged version? Bum, ba-dum, ba-da-dum, bum, 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 ba-da-dum, bum. No, Joe, play the song.
Raw Dog Comedy. Sirius XM 99 and on the Sirius XM app.
Yeah. It's a hot crowd.
Yeah.
I would have done my hair if I'd known that. I know we had a live audience. This is exciting. I have a little bit of a thing going on, so sorry if I happen to cough a few times. I might. Sorry.
What do you got? A little bronchitis happening?
Viagra. Yeah, that's right. Yeah, it's bronchitis. Yeah, that's what they're saying. It should be fine. Yeah,
I think maybe it's from living in Vegas and then leaving that.
it might be. Yeah, it all starts. Yeah, the dust and dirt and all that crap in Vegas is the worst environment in the world. That's why they put us there, so we get to enjoy all that.
You've been in Vegas how long now?
20 some years. Yeah,
That's
I know. I love it's the good
unbelievable.
lighting. Good lighting. Yeah, yeah. No, I know it isn't. We were talking about that. Oh, God,
Yeah.
we talked about that before. That I'd done your radio show probably like 20 some years. I've been doing comedy for 30 years.
30 years.
30 years, yeah.
But this is the thing about you that I always remember. You kind of leapt into headliner mode immediately.
No, that's always perceived that way, but it wasn't. I wouldn't say what the definition is of right away.
Yeah.
It wasn't that. It was quicker than most.
Right.
But it was not. It wasn't overnight for sure. I mean, I remember playing topless bars in Atlanta, and
right.
I mean, literally, they'd be like, "Here's Cinnamon on the main stage, it's Carrot Top," and I would drag my props on stage. It was horrible. I mean, I remember, I mean, it was horrible.
Yeah,
because everyone's like, "We want tits." I said, "So do I. I don't want. I don't want to see me either." But play along. I promise we'll get out early. So, but it did help in a sense playing this kind of places because it helped you. Every environment was a learning experience. So if you got into a comedy club, let's say, or one of these one-nighters that we all did back in the day, there was a lot of things happening in the room. There'd be a pool table happening and people playing here and talking in a band, literally. And then they'd have comedy. So to keep the people's attention, it was, playing those kind of seedy places, and that did help, I think, to a degree to kind of get yourself used to every environment that you might be in,
Well, also there was a thing that nobody wanted to follow.
Well, that's no, I don't know about all that. But I think doing props is I'm love and hated for it, by the way, which is great.
Yeah.
We just had a discussion earlier about that, but since I've done it so long, it used to be it was all the talk shows would be and then punchline Carrot Top.
Right.
And it used to always hurt my feelings because I was like, why anyone wants to be loved, especially your peers. You wanted people to admire what you did, and definitely your fans. So when you do a show and you'd have a full house, a theater, you did great. You know what I mean?
Right.
Standing ovation. It was a great night. And you get on the tour bus and you're driving down the road, and then someone's ripping you on TV. You're like, what? They weren't at my. They didn't really know me or my show. They just knew a persona of what they thought they might have known. So, I got a lot of grief for that, and a lot of comedy clubs wouldn't book me.
Is that right?
Because of the fact that I did something different. Like, I always thought it's interesting because I always thought, to do something different was always kind of a neat thing. Like, if you know, instead of doing the same, you know, a lot of comics say, oh, he's doing so-and-so's act. Well, with my act, they say, well, it can't be because no one's doing what I was doing, so they couldn't say I was stealing it. So I was proud of the fact that I was doing something creative and different that wasn't necessarily anybody else's, you know, a monologist, you know, so to speak. So I thought, hey, I'm going to get praised because I'm doing something so creative and different. Even a different approach to prop comedy. There's not been that many prop comics in this, that I know, besides Gallagher, who I admired deeply, with the exception of his props smashing in the water. His brain he's brilliant comic. He's the one that, it sounds hack now, but he's the one that came up with all those jokes like, what are you driving a parkway and driving park on a driveway. It was always really brilliant words, which, I'm talking very fast, but, I'm making one point. But, so getting blacklisted in certain clubs. Yeah. I struggled through that my whole life. Just, and a lot of my friends, like Larry the Cable Guy or Billy Gardell, or all these big name comics now, Foxworthy, all those guys, would come to my aid and they'd say, book Carrot Top. He's fine. He's going to do a good job for you. But I would bring a strobe light and I would do like fog machines and I had all this stuff. And the crowd loved it. I mean, they ate it up, but then the owner loved it. It was just the other comics in the back of the room like, you can't have a fucking strobe light. And I said, why not? And I would operate, my dad built this little box and I'd hit the strobe light and the fogger and the thing and it would do a joke in slow motion with the music and so I had all these things and it was always a hit with the crowds, which is what was most important to me.
But do you remember any one comic in particular being the guy that the other comics followed? Because, like, normally there's somebody that'll set the tone where everybody goes, oh, okay, now I get it. We can say that even though this guy's killing, we don't want him here.
Well, yeah. Well, I can't think of one in particular. I've never really had that many run-ins with too many comics.
I always remember there was it was actually a great joke that Bill Hicks did where he said, I'm playing some shitty club in, Birmingham or whatever.
You know the quote? Yeah.
And they're emptying out parts of the ocean.
They're draining lakes and building bleachers to see Carrot Top.
Which is really a
very, very funny.
It's really a great joke.
It was. In fact, he was one of the guys that, and I had met at the time and I would very admired deeply. And there was a comedy, I don't think they still have this anymore, it was a comedy awards. And I'd won that year, and I was up against Dom Herrera, and Bill Hicks, right, and all these people. And it was one of those. It sounds strange, but it's one of those things where I didn't want to win because I didn't want to. It was like these guys are like my heroes, So I'm in this stupid audience, and they said, and the winner in Carrot Top, I'm like, Jesus, it was so embarrassing in a sense to win, which is unfortunate. You should have embraced it and absorbed the moment, but I didn't want to win because it was like, oh my gosh, and I got a lot of heat for that. And I remember before we had internet and on Twitter and all that, but there was a lot of heat about, and I kept, apologizing for winning, which just didn't really make sense, but I had heard that joke he had said, and I heard through some other comics, people I was always the punchline. So I was playing the Comedy Corner in West Palm Beach, and I remember Colleen McGarr, who ran the club at the time, and I built my way up to, like, I did opening, I won a contest, actually. I only had 5 props. 2 were funny. And she said, and that's all started, but she said, you gotta, you're really funny. I like what you're doing, but you're not, you gotta, I was doing a lot, I worked at I was going to school to college. So I was doing all these college jokes and it killed on campus. It was, your audience. But I went down to the club, I'm doing these jokes about the college and she's like, it's not translating to a normal audience of, demographic of, pool of people. So you got to come up with something a little more generic, and so that's when I came up with my Wendy's joke. I look like the Wendy's hamburger girl, and it was like my Freebird.
That was the first thing that everybody went crazy for and demanded.
And I came up by I was in Aruba working at a comedy club, and there was the only place to eat was a Wendy's, or that American food. So I went down there every day for a month. and had Wendy's, and like the third, fourth day, they're all laughing. All the people were laughing at me. I'm thinking they're laughing because I'm here again. I'm like, I know, sorry. and then finally one says, "You look like the girl in the bag, the Wendy's."
Yeah.
And I went, "Oh, Jesus." So that night, I remember that night, I went to the drugstore and I got these little, whatever they are, clips or whatever the heck. And, I opened with that. I said, "Hey, I know you're," I look, and I put the clips in, and I put my head through the Wendy's bag, and it turned into like a 10-minute routine. And that was my, like I said, my free bird. It was great. But going back to Bill Hicks, so I was doing this thing, and I'd finally gotten to do an opening for like Larry the Cable Guy, and and then Foxworthy, and all these different people. And then finally she said, "You can feature," which is a really big deal. And then going back to Not One to Follow Me, I think it was Jeff Altman, who was brilliant. He was funny, but I was young and I had all this energy, and I had my stupid strobe light and the props and the thing, and it was a lot of energy, and I did quite well. And then he came up after, and I remember him complaining like, "I don't want to go after him," and I said, "Well, I'm not good enough to go after you." So it was a weird time where I was really good in the middle spot, but not necessarily a headliner by any stretch of the imagination. So. I finally, one night, she said, "I'm going to let you headline." And I was so terrified. And she said, and I remember her saying, "The more stuff you build, the longer you can do." So I said, "Oh, it's fine. I'll just build 3 trunks of stuff, So I had like 5 trunks, more than I needed, just because I only had to do like 40 minutes, but I wanted to make sure I was over prepared with all my stuff. And I did fine. And so one night after the show, I was, just thanking her profusely for letting me have this opportunity to headline the Comedy Corner. It was like a big deal. I went there, I went there as a kid and watched Seinfeld and watched Foxworthy, so I couldn't believe I'm standing in the same spot. So, I said, "You're friends with Bill Hicks, aren't you?" And she said, "Yeah." I said, "Why does he hate me?" She's like, "He doesn't hate you." And I said, "Yeah, yeah." So, it was not even kidding. It was like the next night, we had 2 shows, and between shows, I had gone off stage to set everything up again. She said, "There's someone that wants to see you in the hallway." And I thought, "Oh God, I'm in trouble." It was like the manager or something. So I went over, did something, and I walk out the hall, and it's Bill Hicks. I did not even know he was I knew she knew him, but I know he was staying with her.
Yeah, she really knew him.
yeah, exactly. But he was dying. Like he had, honestly, maybe a couple weeks. Maybe.
And nobody knew. Nobody.
Yeah, when I saw him, I was, you just take him back because he was so thin, and it was just an awful sight. But I remember thinking, "Oh my God, what do I say?" It's Bill Hicks, and he came up to me, and he hugged me, and he says, "I don't hate you," and I was like, he got out of his bed, to come down to say hi to me and to say that he didn't hate me. And I was like, I didn't want you to get out of bed. I was just stating, I didn't know you were here, but he wanted to set the record straight. And he said, "I'm just, making for comics. That's what we do. Right. And I'm proud of you. And you do what you do great." So. Yeah.
That's an amazing story too. Because
I hope it was.
Yeah, it is. No, it is.
I put a lot into that.
It is.
Thank you. I made the whole thing up.
But the fact of something like you said, what he did was a very funny joke and really about himself. It was a funny joke,
and it wasn't really. Yeah.
It was
self-deprecating. Yeah, which is my favorite humor, of course.
But
self-deprecating.
That sometimes the media or something can run with that, and comedy is different from everything else because you have. In music, there's a jazz club, there's a metal club, there's a blues club. But in comedy, there's just comedy. Everybody comes in together. So
yeah, I've always thought that we do have a good camaraderie with comics.
Sure.
Even as much as that there is those little bottom feet, Carrot Top's bottom feet of the chain. When it comes down at the end of the day, that I've always found rewarding is when you get to meet your real peers, like people that you admired, like George Carlin,
yeah.
and they say, "Hey, I'm a fan of your kid," and you're like, "Holy shit, George Carlin, knows me and knows my act and was, so Shandling, the Bill Maher's, Dennis Mills, all the people that when they come up and say, "Hey, man, I'm a fan of your stuff," you're like, "Holy moly."
Well, you can't help but, knowing how tough comedy is, to know somebody who has their own audience, which you do, and then you have super served that audience for all these years, down to the fact that you can be in Vegas.
Yeah.
And it's an amazing long shot that you pulled off.
Oh, that's for sure. I'm the Mark Rubio of comedy. for sure. Yeah. There's no way in hell I'm going to win this thing. But yeah. It's interesting. It's interesting. I tell a lot of young comics all the time where they always ask. I always say the same thing. I was just talking to one the other night. It was just and it sounds so cliche and stupid when people say really believe in yourself and really go after what you want, and regardless of what anybody else says about it. And that's what I did. I mean, I was always just, in fact, I'm trying to, everyone keeps saying, you should write a book. So I'm trying to think of, the working title, Underdog, because me in a cape, because I've always been, in a sense, before comedy even, just being a skinny kid with red hair and freckles.
Right.
I was always the outcast. I wanted blonde hair and I wanted to be tall and handsome. Thank God I'm still handsome, but I wanted to, yeah.
But it is true, like, to have red hair and freckles is tough in Boston, but to be in Florida.
Yeah, in the sun. Are you okay? Get out of the sun.
Yeah.
People always, you're wearing protection.
And you were one of those guys that was a small kid, right?
I was 133 pounds. Literally 135 pounds when I graduated high school.
Yeah.
I'm 137 now, so. No, but someone sent me a picture this morning when I was in the band. It's an awesome picture. And that's when I was like, oh God, look, I'm 12. But it was, so it was always, I was always picked on, when I got into comedy, it's picked on. So, it's been fun. But it's a fun life.
I never knew that it got to you so much because
it did earlier on than it does now. We were just talking again about the fact that one of my friends says, to rip on me now is considered hack. I've been doing it 30 years, so let it go kind of thing. And like you were saying earlier, my audience, I do have a built-in audience, which is always nice. My fans, I wouldn't still be doing it if my fans didn't stay around. But it's so much fun to get new fans. I get all the time, especially in Vegas, because it's such a diverse group of people that, all countries, all ages, everything. And it's fun every night to look out there and I'll say hi, people who've never seen my show before. And it's like maybe a third of the people, because they can't get into or they couldn't get into, any other show that's happening. Celine Dion's booked, so we'll go see Carrot Top.
Which is interesting because
you win them over. It's such a great reward,
But the fact is, most people at your stage don't have to win over an audience. Like Seinfeld doesn't have to go out there and go, "Oh, I hope."
Well, no, you're right to a degree. I think you're right. I don't, I've always thought that too. My friends always say, "Well, you got the celebrity things. When you hit the stage, you're already mad." I've never looked at it that way. I could look at it. What I was just saying a second ago is probably more than a third of the people that have not, so I have to win them over. So I've always gone out with the idea of always trying to win that crowd, even if they were my fans, even if they stand up before you walk out, then it's more pressure because they're like, this is going to be really good, right? It's got to be. They're standing already. I haven't done anything. So there's always that pressure to want to succeed each night.
Vegas is weird that day because you're right. There's shows that you would go to that you wouldn't if they came here.
George Carlin said to me one night when he said that. He says, these fucking people, they went to the buffet and they walked by a George Carlin sign. They came in and he used to do it. He was brilliant, but his opening line would walk 50 people. And I always thought that was brilliant. Yeah. Because I'm thinking, don't they know what they're getting involved in? Like they really know that they got my show. They somewhat know maybe. A lot of times they leave thinking, I love that comment too. It's a backward comment when people always say, I didn't want to come, I did not want to come to your show. I was drug and I did not even like you. You annoy me. They did that. You annoy me. You're horrible. But I had a good time. I'm like, Jesus, just go right to, why can't you just say he was great? But they always cut all that.
I've done that before in Vegas. Friends and I, we went to see Tom Jones and we thought it was ironically, right?
It's horrible, right? No, I'm kidding.
No, he's
great. He's great.
Amazing.
He's one of those guys too. Yeah. You leave going, oh my God, no wonder he's Tom Jones.
Yeah. This is why he was
full, statesman, performer.
Right.
You think you could walk through it? No, he's just sweating and women are I'm throwing my boxer shorts up there. I was like, Tommy! He always talks in third person too. Tommy's gonna sing a song now. Tommy's gonna drink some tea. I'm like, you are Tommy. Who's Tommy?
So,
get him.
If it wasn't strange enough for this kid to grow up and do, become Carrot Top and do your act, you're also living in Vegas, which keeps things extra weird.
Yeah, it's surreal.
Yeah.
But I think it works for me. I think it's great because you get, I'm lucky and too, I'm blessed that I get a chance to do to do a show every night. Not a lot of guys get to do that. People always, other comics say, where do you work your stuff out when you do a TV show? I'm like, I do it every night. I don't have to go to the Comedy Cellar and work out.
Right.
I do it every night. So there's an upside to that. And there's a, downside is 6 nights a week in Vegas. You sometimes like.
How many weeks a year do you do it?
40 weeks a 6 nights a week. So yeah.
And then
my manager has a car payment. Basically, what it comes down to. Yeah.
How long's your manager been with you? Have you guys?
I don't have a manager anymore because of that. Yeah.
Because.
No, I don't have a manager anymore. Yeah, I just do. I have agents.
You have agents, but other than that, you kind of run whatever business you have yourself, right?
Yes. Yeah.
That's another thing about you that I always.
I've had the same crew though for 25 years.
Is that right?
Same people.
Same people.
Same to everybody.
I always remember, and you were very young doing this, but you had a logo that everybody recognized immediately.
Well, the story is what happened was, this is great, because I was in college, and this is right when it was before I was trying to get into that contest and win. I had never done comedy, and I went on stage and I did, old jokes.
Right.
Standard joke like, hey, old lady's yelling at her husband, why I'm tired of you talking behind my back and push me around. You're in a wheelchair. Stupid jokes like that. And it was just getting the timing of the joke. So when I did that on stage, people loved it. And then I went to the comedy corner and she's like, these aren't your jokes, are you? I said, no. She's like, we have to write your own jokes. Well, this is hard. I didn't know. I thought I could just tell jokes. I'm a comedian. So then when you had to do the act, that's when I came up with my act. But anyway, where we go with this? Oh yeah. So I'm in my dorm room. Literally, I was like 19 years old probably. And so my friends were always like, oh, you're funny. And I really wasn't funny. I just was always, I was actually a really quiet kid, but I was always had the jokes, the jokes. So I would tell. So they said, you should do that. So I did it. And I went back to my room and I was a marketing major. So I was like, I need a logo, like the Rolling Stones and the Grateful Dead have a logo.
Right.
So I said, I need a logo, right? So I drew this little logo, and I didn't really. Carrot Top was kind of, it was a moniker naturally. It's been used many times for redheads. I made it famous, I guess, or famouser. But so people would always say Carrot Top or whatever. So I said Carrot Top because Scott Thompson is my real name. Was Kids in the Hall. It's Scott Thompson, Kids in the Hall. So I said I can't be Scott Thompson. That's boring anyhow. So I want like Aerosmith. I want like a logo. So I took a little carrot and I don't know. I still have it. I did a Sharpie and it's framed. And I remember drawing it and I was like, boom. So my friend's like, what's that? I said, it's my logo. I said, for what? I said, for my comedy career. You don't have an act. I said, I know, but I have a logo. And I really, so the joke was I had a logo before I had an act. And so I literally did. And they're like, well, now you have to get, I said, well, that's the hard part's over. I got the logo, got the name, got the brand. Now I just got to find the act. So I slowly developed, whatever the heck my act is now.
But that's you thinking visually first.
I was always thinking bigger and broader before having known that I would even do this. Yeah.
And you haven't changed that logo since you were a kid?
I've done some
just a little bit.
Yeah, some modifications to it, and have it's a couple of different ones. I do my own T-shirt brand, like line of clothing and whatnot.
Because that's always the thing. Like if you're wearing a Dead shirt, there, it's pretty simple. Yet everybody in the world knows that. Everybody knows.
Yeah. My logo. I don't have it on me. My logo is basically like a shadow of me. It's like my hair and me going like this.
Yeah.
But it looks like me, so people are always like, oh, that's it. No. But yeah, interesting.
Well, I think that's one of the things that works right away that made you different. Is that you do have some kind of a strange visual genius. You know what I mean? Yeah. That and that has been.
I think it's a lot of. I think there's a lot of variables that go into that. I think honestly, because my friends that are comic, a couple friends of mine, they kept trying to get this specific. They're like, you have a look and a thing. I'm going to do it. So he shaved his head. I'm like, you don't just shave your head. That's going to make you famous,
right?
Or he's going to do where I wasn't looking to be famous. This is just what I look like. So it has happened to help or hurt. As I always say, it's a blessing and a curse to look like this. But it is my look. I didn't really create. It's just how I've always looked. I surfed when I was a kid, and I always had long hair. And then when it became this thing and turned into the brand, then that it turned into what it was. But I think a lot of that has to do with why it all worked. I had a unique look, and I had a unique act. So when I first started doing television, like 20-some years ago, there wasn't anything like it on television. So the comedy shows, like before the Tonight shows and the Regis, those shows, it was just the regular comedy shows, like evening at the Improvs and whatnots. So it'd be 6 comics per episode, let's say. I stood out because I had this red hair and these props and I had my logo on my trunk lid, Carrot Top. So they were like, they had to remember.
Yeah.
But it was really more going up early on in the comedy clubs like in New York and California where there was 100 comics in one night. you wait your turn. So I'm in the hallway with all my crap, and and Bub would say, "You're up." And it's midnight. I get up there. There's like 3 people. I used to have more props than fucking people in here, and I would do my act, for 3 people. But whenever I went on, people always remembered, even if whatever joke, let's say it was a Trump joke now or a Michael Jackson joke back then. Everyone may have done their joke, but mine was different because it was a visual Michael Jackson joke, so it stood out, whatever the jokes happened to be. So it helps. So it was a lot of those things, variables together, I think, why it worked and when it worked for me. I think I stood out a lot.
Yeah, and you write the quick visual joke about whichever in the zeitgeist at that time, so your stuff has to be pretty current. And boom, you hit something with stuff that maybe people just heard about that morning.
Yeah, indeed.
Yeah. And
and that's fun. And it's fun for all comics, but for me too, I always keep it current.
Yeah.
So it's fun to be, to be able to do that night of, the newest Trump thing I come up with, or the newest.
Well, that's what's always funny though, that is one thing to come up with the line, but to come up with that visual thing, it's almost like a cartoon in a newspaper.
Indeed. In fact, a lot of times people would rip me for doing what I would be doing. I used to always say the same thing. I always say, well, it's the same thing that what Conan or Jay Leno or these others just would do in the piece after the monologue.
Yeah,
it was always props.
Yeah, that is true.
It's television, people. It's vision. You're looking. So it's and that's what they did. They would do. In fact, they would do my exact prop. I'd be like, "That's my prop."
Right.
That happens all the time. One of the best ones I did a Mike Tyson when he bit Evander's ear.
Yeah.
I had a rubber boxing head thing. And I had these rubber ears on it, and I said I made this for his opponent to wear so he'd have something to chew on. And it made like the USA Today.
Yeah.
It was a huge day for me. I made a lot of press, and then I'm in and then like 2 nights. No, I did it on the Tonight Show. And then I was at a big award show in Las Vegas, and I'm sitting next to Dennis Hopper when he was alive, and I was like so excited because I'm like, how the fuck did I get to sit next to Dennis Hopper? By the way, can I say fuck? Keep saying fuck. And I was sitting next to Dennis Hopper. I don't want to be like the guy. So I'm sitting next to Dennis Hopper. I couldn't believe it. So I said, sorry, but this is pretty exciting for me. And he's like, what's that? I said, I get to sit next to Dennis Hopper. He's like, oh, shut up. Real nice guy. And he says, Mike Tyson? I said, no, why? Because he was walking up behind me. I said, no, I don't know Mike Tyson, but I did a joke about him one time on the Tonight Show, so he probably wouldn't like me. He's like, he's right behind you. And I turn around, and he's literally right there, and he goes, hey, Mikey. They're good friends.
Yeah.
And Dennis Hopper. They're hugging, and he's, hey, mate, and he looks at me, and he's, Carrot Top? And I said, hey, Mike. And he gets right in my face. He says, do you think that's funny? The thing with the ears? And I go, no, I don't think it's funny at all. And he's like, he's really, like, I never had that moment where I picked on a celebrity who's standing there. It has to be him.
Yeah.
It could have been Richard Simmons. I could take him. But it was like Mike Tyson. And he was like, yeah. And he's like, you think that's funny? And he's really, like, you look in his eyes. He's got really powerful eyes.
Yeah.
And, I'm like, oh my God, he's gonna punch me. And he said, I'm just kidding. And he tapped like a little love tap. I'm still sore. It was like 15 years ago.
Yeah.
I'm still sore. But that was one of the first times I had been confronted with someone that I had made fun of in a joke. But going back to the stolen joke. Then I tried to think of another joke to try to milk this Tyson thing. So the George Foreman grill.
Right.
So I said, other fighter, Mike Tyson has a grill. And it was a little, it was a George Foreman grill, but there was an ear on it when you put the thing down. And I did that on the Tonight Show again, right? So I was always on Jay every 3 months. I never had a set. He'd be like, so I did my thing. That's my Jay Leno impression.
That's good.
Get something from a wacky prop comic. But he's been awesome to me. So anyway, I do the joke and and then the next thing you know, like a week later, I was on the bus, I think at the time we were doing road shows, and we're all watching the Tonight Show, and I was just good anyhow as comics, just keep make sure you're staying on topic and stuff. And he's doing the headlines. So he's like, this is in the Dayton Me Porter. It is the Mike Tyson grill. And I go, what the it's a picture of my exact prop that I did on the Tonight Show, though. It was like the prop writers took it off. And only I know that. I go, it's my exact joke. Like they took a picture of my prop off the TV and put it into a fake newspaper article. Fuckers. So yeah, it happens a lot. It happens a lot with now, I've noticed now since where we've gone with all the iPhones and Snapchats and all we all get one every day from
right.
a picture joke, like
memes that are just
or just a prop picture. Yeah. Now it's like my act has actually become it's even harder for me now to keep it all. So they'll think that I just looked on Instagram and I stole these jokes. So no, these are mine. I saw one yesterday. Someone had a picture of a redneck. It was a redneck grill / cooler, and it was a toilet, and the top was all the beer, and the toilet part was the grill. And I said, I had that 10 years ago.
Right. I didn't even realize that stuff like Instagram now is your competition, because that didn't exist.
Because it's all it's so quick. It's the next day. You're already, they don't hold on to things like they used to back in the day. I'd get like an O.J. Simpson joke, or a Clinton joke would last years. I could get. The one was when Monica Seles got stabbed. Remember, someone came up and stabbed her. Mm-hmm. I used to have a tennis racket with the rearview mirror on it, so she was playing tennis. I got like years out of that time. Mileage. Now, a big current event will last, maybe a day or two, and people don't know anything.
That is so interesting, because everybody just feeds on it.
Yeah, so much information out there that, people won't even know who Marco Rubio is by next week.
Yeah, that's true.
I don't know now, but I mean, as much as all, so much integrated in our faces.
Yeah, we'll play this next week. And people are like,
who's Carrot
Top? Yeah. What's Vegas?
Wasn't he famous at one point?
But you've managed in the middle of all this, as we said, stay.
Yeah, I know. Like
years.
I said, I've been very, very. I don't know the answer to it. I just think it's one hard work. I do work all the time. I never haven't stopped in 30 years, literally.
Well, how long have Penn and Teller been out there? That's about
a year and a half, I think.
Just a year and a half. They're just new kids up and coming.
Yeah. They've been there. I think they're the ones that are beating me. I think I'm the longest running.
Is that right?
The longest running current full time. But David Copperfield, of course, has been there.
Right.
Different, and Penn and Teller. And then maybe some of the, like Jubilee or the girl shows, whatever those girl shows.
But, the thing is, if you stop drawing at any time, you're out. I mean, I don't care who the act is.
Oh, yeah, no. Yeah, we call it four-walling, which, I don't know, I'm in the business, But, if you're like four-wall, it just basically means you rent the four walls. So, and two-wall means you split it with the casino. So, I've always done that, which is a high risk, because, you're relying on you to sell. So if I don't sell, then you don't make any money.
You have to do your own advertising? Or
I do it. No, I do it all.
Wow.
Yeah. We do everything all in-house. I own the show. I don't, Lux does then do my show.
And you're in charge of whatever ideas for marketing. So you're basically marketing.
Yeah, yeah. Which my marketing degree paid off. So.
Yeah, it did pay off.
I think.
Well, this is another thing I think that's interesting. I don't know if everybody knows that you grew up in probably the most exciting time with what happened with NASA, and your dad was working.
Yeah, not knowing when you're a kid, right? When your parents, you think back like they had a cool job or not. I didn't know until I was older. I said, "Oh shit, my dad works at the Space Center. He trains like Neil Armstrong." I didn't,
right?
Bob Crippen and all these kids, John Young, So I knew it was cool, but I didn't know till I got older that. Wow, my dad's a rock star, So
I mean, literally, history was taking place.
Yeah, all that.
As you were
that's why my dad. Oh God, you get on there wasn't a real moon landing. My dad will kill you.
Yeah, right.
He's like, really? I said, yeah, Dad. There's a lot of talk. Yeah. There's a lot of talk.
But I mean, that's really at a time that we gathered the smartest people in the country and the world to do one thing. Yeah. And I don't know whether we will ever have anything to compare with that.
I wonder about that. When you look back at that, that's cool. When they have these documentaries, these shows that go back in that time, it's fun to look at that. I don't know if we ever will. Even watching Leave It to Beaver, Leave It to Shows, you're like, God, we're never going to have that again. We don't have that kind of that simple ism.
But the thing that we had with that is we literally went to the moon, which even now we can't do. But somehow we pulled it off 40 years ago. But now they said, hey, we got to get to the moon. I don't know. I don't know how to do it.
I don't know how to do it.
And they did that without computers. You ever go back and watch that? There's switches everywhere.
Sure.
So your dad was working in that, and then you come up with
I used to make a joke on my show. I said my dad worked at NASA in that movie here. Houston, we had a problem right after you'd hear Larry. Because my dad had something to do with it. Houston, we have a problem. Larry! What'd you do? But yeah, he was so smart. He really honestly he did all that. Yeah, he was also in one of the last things he did before he retired was when they did the piggyback the shuttle across to California to the Space Center. When they piggybacked it, they had to mount the shuttle onto the 747 and then have it release so they could release. And my dad built the little things that would release the shuttle. That was interesting, but I remember him actually working on that project.
And at the time, you're just like, he's just your dad.
I said, he's going to clip, Dad.
Yeah.
I have a ton of those in my show. I can make that. I can make that.
He does that, and you're making these props.
I can make this. I can do that.
Make tourists laugh.
Clip. Make tourists laugh. Yeah. Yeah. At times it is challenging. You're right. Especially Vegas. It is. It's drinking, gambling, smoking, prostitution. Bring the kids. It's always like the weirdest.
Well, you do kind of a kid-friendly show, though,
it's
right?
somewhat. It's not. Yeah. No, I wouldn't say kid-friendly. I mean, I have a show that I can do that's kid-friendly. Yeah. I did a lot of state fairs. A few years ago, but I did for the whole summer, I would just do state fairs and literally like all ages, like 5 to 90. And, that was challenging. But once you got into it, like a couple weeks of doing those shows, you didn't really think much about, doing the other show. It came natural. And then when you go back to Vegas, you're like, oh, I can say F again. Yeah.
Right.
You can do. So I don't like necessarily being vulgar and by a chance, stretch. So I think I also have a lot of longevity too, but I'm not squeaky clean, but I'm not disgustingly, horribly gross.
But I think that's the thing about your show. It's like, it seems like, oh, is this kind of a kid's show? But then it's like rock and roll.
Yeah. I try to make it for everyone to enjoy, because the Vegas crowds too, you get so many diverse age groups and nationality. Yeah. The other night I was just doing a show and I was talking to this guy. I said, "You speak English?" He said, "No." I said, "Fuck, no wonder, because I'm talking to this guy for like 5 minutes. He's just looking at me." We've all made that mistake before.
Well,
when someone's blind or deaf,
yeah,
you don't know it. I was doing a show at college. Good lordy, this is like 28 years ago, and I'm doing the shows in Dallas, and I'm doing the show, and this guy sitting there, he's staring at this thing, and I'm doing the show, and I kept looking. I said, "What are you looking at? What are you blind?" And right when I said, "What are you blind?" Oh, fuck, he's blind. You kind of knew right when I said, "What are you blind?" It's like the old comic that was, "What are you, pregnant?" Hey, when's the baby due? So you kind of catch yourself, but he was blind, yeah. He said, "Yes, I am." And I said, "Oh, God, you can't get out."
Who brings him to a Carrot Top show?
The dog was enjoying the hell out of it.
Yeah.
He was watching me, laughing with the gun. No idea.
The blind guy's, what is he holding up? Is it good?
It's a dog. Funny? Yeah. It's a rubber chicken and a tennis racket.
It's great.
Yeah, it's great.
You and I were talking about Dice.
Yeah, I love Dice, and it's so strange that he's a fan.
Yeah.
You never know who's going to be your fan, or who is your fan, or who you like. You find out by accident. We were doing a roast, and for Gene Simmons, and Gene Simmons, and so. We're up there, and everyone's horribly mean and rotten. The worst things in the world. Yeah. They should get rid of those things. So, of course, I'm up there and on the dais, and it's like we're roasting Gene Simmons. Why has it been so rotten to me? That was the focal point of the whole thing. All of a sudden, they say, "We have a special guest today." And all of a sudden, I'm like, "Fuck, who is it?" And it's Dice Clay, and the music's playing. He comes through like this gladiator. And I'm like, oh, fuck. Here comes, like, anal raping part 2 of Carrot Top. And he goes off on me, like, beyond positive. Like, I was his biggest fan. Yeah. He was my biggest supporter. And I was like, the whole time, my mouth was just like, "Dice is a fan of mine. This guy's got to show every fucking night at the lock." I can't do a very good Dice. But anyway.
Well, he thinks visually as well. Like, he was the only...
I took all cigarettes. The whole prop. He's a prop act.
Yeah. Well,
cigarette in the it's microphone.
Yeah. He was a guy that explained to me that he worried about all that before he wrote a joke, like how to look at the audience, how to move.
Sure,
I never thought about jokes.
Isn't that funny? Yeah. We all have that weird littleness.
But
there was a guy that used to do that too. I forget his name now. He's really, really. He had the whole look like Dice. Yeah. The beginning, and the music would play really loud, and he came out in his jacket and he'd smoke, and there's this, and the whole crowd, and he goes, "Hey, everybody." And it was the funniest. He couldn't follow that though, because that was the funniest thing in his whole act was like, "So what's up?"
That was Mark Rubio.
Nice.
And he so good, started so strong, stopped working
indeed.
for him. But I was and another thing too that I saw you do with the Between Two Ferns with Galifianakis, where all he does is "Hey, Carrot," and it's really a funny thing. But that made me wonder. I think you're probably one of the most well-known people in the country. I think that, we try this as an audience, just go out and say to people, do you know who Carrot Top is? Whether it's kids or older people.
Yeah, I have a big, what do they call that, Q rating? Whatever.
Yeah.
I guess, yeah. Well, I did, for years I did this telephone commercial and people were so annoyed.
Yeah.
And I used to tell them on the streets, because your commercials are fucking annoying. I said, I know, they're annoying to me too. But I'm being paid to do them.
Right.
So I used to say, can we make a lot of them so we can make a lot of annoying ones instead of not just one? So that's what we did. We made like 50 of those stupid commercials.
Well, that was back.
Dial down the center with 1-800.
Yeah.
And this little kid came up to me in the mall one time and his mom was like, go tell him. And I said, tell me what? Go tell Carrot Top. I said, what do you want to tell me? He says, you're a liar. And I was horrified. I said, I'm a liar. Why am I a liar? He says, in your commercial you say dial down the center, 1-800, but the one's not the center. And I was like, you need to get into marketing. You need to be you're a smart little shit. You need to get into,
Those things ran for how long, though? Was it a couple of years?
3 years or 4 years? Yeah, they had a good run.
Yeah, that's back when...
I was the flow back then,
right.
Progressive.
That's when you actually had to make a big deal about how you dialed long distance,
Right.
When people still knew phone numbers.
Yeah, you don't have people say, how can we do this commercial tomorrow? Who makes a collect call? Prisoners? I mean, that was my audience, prisoners.
That's a great audience to have.
And then I remember because I'd done comedies for so many years and I was doing these commercials, which was a whole different thing. People would come up to me all the time. What do you do though for a living? And I'm like, I'm a comedian. Oh, I remember I was in a mall one time because where comics go when you're on the road and nowhere else to go. Go to a mall, find a Dairy Queen or something. Orange Julius, whatever. And we're standing there and this guy says, what are you in town for? And I said, I'm doing a show at the theater. What kind of show? Like a phone show? Like a phone show. Yeah, there's a lot of dialing. Get there early. It's going to be hilarious. Like, they had no idea what I did. They thought I was just a phone commercial guy. So there'll be a payphone on stage. It's going to be a fun show. We're going to talk about dialing and how to get change out of the thing. It's hilarious. It's an hour and a half long.
Yeah. People lined up for the phone show.
Yeah, like a phone show. Yeah, like a phone show. Jesus Christ.
When you were a kid, who were the first people that you saw doing stand-up? Were you realized...
Jonathan Winters and Don Rickles.
Yeah.
Bill Cosby.
Yeah.
Which George Carlin.
By the way, you notice how that lands differently now when you say Bill
Cosby? Yeah, it's unfortunate because, man, he's brilliant. One of the best comics ever was Bill Cosby. I mean, ever. Still this day, one of the best comics. Brilliant writing and delivery. And, it's unshame.
Again, and for many, many years, in many ways, that people will forget how important it was.
Yeah, it's unfortunate that his legacy, because he was, he was great.
Yeah.
And I'd met him. He was really, 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 really nice to me. After the drinks. No, sorry. Now you put the now you Jello pudding pop.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, you're doing, we're talking about...
Horrible. I just admire this guy and then I rip him. See? That's how comics are.
Right.
I love him and rip him.
Yeah.
Get him.
That's why you were surprised that Bill Hicks is saying, no, crazy about it.
Yeah, indeed.
Yeah. Anybody else like that? I think, didn't Albert Brooks?
Oh, Albert Brooks. Yeah, brilliant Albert Brooks. And in fact, one time I was watching Albert Brooks on The Tonight Show.
Yeah.
And Jay was interviewing, hey, that's the Albert Brooks thing. And, I love doing my Jay and Perletta impression.
Yeah.
So, he was on the panel and he was talking about, it was some of his early Tonight shows with Johnny Carson. And I think he even went back, I don't know, it was just Johnny Carson. I don't think it was Jack Parr and all that. But he was doing, he did the spinning plate gag, right? So he was like, oh, Jay's going, oh, yeah, because he made it rip at me. And Jay and I have been friends and I did the show, So he said, and Albert Brooks says, which makes me wonder if American Airlines ever lost Carrot Top's luggage, he wouldn't have an act. And I'm like screaming at the screen going, no shit. It's like, but I mean, it wasn't a secret. It's like at the Rolling Stones, they lost their amplifier. I was never one to say that the Rolling Stones, they lost their guitars, they wouldn't put on a show probably. My props are my amps. This is my thing. So, yeah.
Well,
but you can see we can still do a show without props. We can be, fun.
But
we can always say, "We're going to do a radio show. You bring Carrot Top on the radio. What's that going to be like?" Well, now I'm holding a,
But you ever see some of the prop work Albert did? It was amazing.
No. I love
that speak and spell on the Tonight Show.
That's why I was bummed when he made fun, because I'm like, you fucker, you're one of me. We're one of the same.
Have you ever?
Although he's brilliant. Sorry, he's brilliant.
Have you ever met him or?
No, but I've always wanted to.
I bet it's the same thing. I bet he's
probably really nice. Yeah. It's always that, it's always that in life, probably with anybody just outside show business. When you meet somebody or get to know who they are or their work, you have a completely different perception idea of. There's so many people that I've met that I had a different built-in perception of who they were, and I met them. Oh, thousands of. I'm trying to think. There's just so many that I was like, oh, they're really nice in person.
Yeah.
I never thought that would be,
Because I guess Vegas, you cross with a lot of people there too. Since you're the only acts in town, or you could be there for a while. There must be country acts, magicians.
Oh, tons. Yeah, Shania Twain just came to the show. That was fun too, because they said Shania Twain's coming to the show, and I was all excited. So their people came back and said, don't like announce her, because a lot of times I'll say, hey, so and so, Rascal Flatts are here or whatever. They said she doesn't want to be in, which is fine. She's doing it private. She's a little hat. You wouldn't even know she's there. I said, okay. So I have a joke in the show about it, which is so really weird because she's there. And all my friends are like, you gonna do the joke? I'm like, fuck yeah, I'm doing the joke. I'm a risk taker, bitch. So, and the joke is horrible. The music comes on, down, 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 down. And I said, that's not Twain. I'd nail that again if I had a chance. And everybody goes, ooh, and I go, you don't know. And she's there. And I said, I'd nail that again. And she's right there in the fucking audience. So I do all these jokes about her. Like every song starts out like a cheerleader. It's like, da, 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 let's go, girls. And it's like 4 songs in a row. All right, let's go. And I'm totally ripping the shit out of her. And then I do this thing with Crown Royal, and it was years ago. I wanted to have just a shot during the middle of the show. And I didn't want to, so I made a whole bit out of it. It was like this bucket comes down and it's like lit up, and there's music, and I did this drink, and I pass out shots to like the front row. And then, so I'm doing shots, and this lady stand up like, it's fucking Shania Twain. And I'm looking, and she's like, I want a shot. So I walk up and I give her a shot. She's like, right? And I'm thinking, she wanted not to be announced. She just want to be, something. And am I getting played here? So after the show, she came back. She couldn't have been, I mean, just the best woman in the world. Like, just sweet and fun, and so you never know. And I'd heard she was horrible. Right. Heard she's rotten and mean. You don't make eye contact with her, which is, I have the same rule at my show. You can't look me in the eye. No, I'm kidding. That's stupid. People say that time. You can't look at Barry Manilow in the eye. Or whoever.
Because they've been around.
I don't know. That's the stupidest thing I've ever heard in my life. But there's people that say that that's such a thing.
Yeah, I've heard about people that can't be seen before they get to the stage and all kinds. But you never know whether it's true or not, right? Because certain people get to that point where it's just pathology.
Well, it's got to be. I mean, you need to stop if you get to that point.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
don't go to the stage.
Speaking of stopping, do you ever worry about, how long can you do this?
Yeah, people always ask every day, how long have you been doing this? I don't know. Yeah. You just keep going till you'll know, when people aren't coming anymore. Right. Or you don't want to do it anymore, when the creativity just doesn't feel like you have it, and you don't enjoy. Like, I love walking down the New York streets of New York. It's great. People just like, someone just says, does that bother you? I said, no, but otherwise, Right. I was telling a story. I was walking through the LA airport one time, and I see this guy coming towards me. I'm like, Jesus Christ, looks like Steven Tyler. And you can't not, it's either Steven Tyler or it's Steven Tyler. Right. It's not like me. Like, that can't be Carrot Top. Yeah. And I'm like, bigger than life. He's got his leopard pants on, and his scarves, and his makeup, and it looked like he just finished filming a video, or he was filming a video as we were talking. And I said to him, oh my God, are you filming a video? And he's like, what, brother? And I said, are you, he's like, what do you mean? I'm just catching a plane to Detroit. And I was like, fuck, I love this guy. Yeah. Like, that's him. He's living light and give a shit. He's like, that's him. He just loved it. He loves that life.
He is one of those guys too, and you'll know this just from meeting him once. Once he locks into you, you could tell why he's a star. You're like, oh, there's something really
he's
special.
He's smart. I've met him a few times.
And it's like when he leaves, it's like everything gets a little lower. You're like, oh shit.
Yeah. You know, it's true.
Yeah.
You ever go to one of the shows and you get to go, lucky to go backstage or whatever, and you know, most shows you go backstage, it's just so uptight and rigid, and their people are saying you can't look and you can't stand over this wall. No look. He comes in and slaps everybody on their, like my friend was standing, and he went whoosh, right on her butt. And she's like, Steven Tyler just hit me in the ass. I said, no, he didn't. Yes, he did. And he came out and hit me on the ass. I was like, what the? And he's like, what's going on, everybody? Like, it's a party.
Yeah, it is.
Why not be happy? You're Steven fucking Tyler.
Yeah, he's one of the guys that appreciates where he got.
Absolutely.
But I remember I did a thing like I'm doing with you, and at some point I thought, I think me and Steven Tyler are really good friends now. You know, I think this probably isn't going to stop.
Have you got that vibe with me yet? Come on.
You know what? I got to tell you.
Look at me.
Carrot. Well, we could go out to lunch and just hang out and
we should
think of props together.
Yeah. Let's do it.
But you get that you know that like you got to this point. It's great. Enjoy all this
absolutely.
work.
Why would you not want to enjoy the people that do love you? Like,
right.
And people that don't love you, even, it's good.
Well,
I had a guy this morning, Sean White, and I was like, what up? Like, it's easier. It's easier just to say, yeah. It's so easy just to go, yeah. And if you go, no, I'm not that guy, then they're like, what? So, yeah. I always say now, if I were go snowboarding, forget about it. I go snowboarding, that's all, they really, honestly, they just see the hair and the goggles, and they're like, fucking Sean White. Then they see me snowboarding. That's not Sean White.
So, is there something that you want to do that you haven't?
Is there something you want to tell everybody today?
Yeah.
Is there something I want to do?
Yeah, that you haven't got the chance to do yet, something in show business, something, you know?
Not really. I mean, not one of these kind of guys. I want to be a producer, direct something one day. No. Yeah. I just like being in things. I just got eaten in Sharknado by a shark.
Sweet.
It was fun.
Yeah.
I begged for it too.
Yeah.
Yeah. They said, you want to be in Sharknado? And I said, do I get eaten by a shark? And they said, no. And I said, I don't want to do it then. And they said, seriously? Well, do you really want it? I said, yeah. So I got eaten. I'm an Uber driver, so it's kind of funny. And I get out of the car and I think I got it's stupid. And I'll say, rah. It's like, got to be in a Sharknado movie.
Right. But I
just got cut out of a movie. I got cut out of the Melissa McCarthy movie, The Boss. I keep seeing all the ads for it today. And I'm like, ugh. Every time I see it, I'm like, ugh.
Yeah.
I played a centaur. Half man, half horse. It was literally the most fun I've ever had in my life. But they had an actual horse on set, and they had me, naked pretty much. And they superimposed the two, and Melissa McCarthy, she eats some sushi.
Yeah.
And she's just a really horrible character in this movie. And she eats the sushi, and she starts hallucinating, and she looks up, and she's like, Carrot Top's a fucking centaur? And it was so funny. We could not stop laughing when it takes. And I was so excited. And then, a couple weeks ago, they had to call and say, oh my God, please, I'm so sorry, but it just didn't, they had to you have to cut something out.
Yeah.
I said, well, why don't you cut some of your stuff out? You're in the whole movie. You could take one thing out.
But that is true. I mean, that happens all the time.
I know,
sometimes
the time.
Even with really
big cut out of Las Vegas. I've been cut out. There's a few movies.
Really? Have you?
But I made The Hangover at the very end.
Yeah.
So it was fun.
But you know,
drugs, that's another thing. They came backstage, this is before I even knew all this. No one knew it would be The Hangover, right? It was just, you want to be in a movie that's Bradley Cooper, I didn't even know who he was. And I knew Zach Galifianakis, but they all came back in my dressing room, and they're like, you guys just partying, and what would you do? I said, I'm really boring. I said, I don't know. I said, should we be doing coke? And they were like, you'll do that? And I said, well, for the movie, yeah, I guess. And they're like, oh God, seriously? I said, yeah. You have to sign off with it. I said, no. So we put some coke out, and that's what we're doing. So it was, because it was absurd that Carrot Top would be doing coke.
Right.
And so people on the street all the time come out, you got some coke on? I don't need coke. I saw you in a movie doing coke. I go, it was a movie. You got any movie coke? I got any movie coke. I don't have any movie coke.
What is movie coke, by the way? What do they use?
It's horrible stuff. It's like this, It's like a baking soda mixture with something. It's just horrible. Or sweet and low.
Yeah. Because you have to be careful because
sugary boogers.
People will cut coke with baby laxative as it is. Oh, yeah, so you don't
usually it's sweet and low or something of that line. And it burns. It's not really fun. Real coke's way more fun, kids. Do the real stuff, kids.
Well, dude, thanks so much for coming by, man.
Thanks for all these lovely people to come out too. That was awesome.
Dice is right too, man. You're a great guy.
Thanks,
You're very, very You, like I said, you're probably one of the most recognizable guys ever. But also
in a lineup, yes.
But it's very rare to see a performer serve his audience the way you have over the years, and that's pretty amazing too.
Oh, thank you.
Carrot Top, everybody.
Thank you, buddy.
Thank you so much, dude.
Thank you, buddy. Thank you.
It was really great.
Thank you. I'll tell you my last, because you said I'm such a recognizable person in the world. I was doing the Tonight Show one night, and as a joke, Jay was done with the show. We got done with the show, and I went into the makeup thing, and I said, Jay, I'm going to take your jet back to Las Vegas if that's okay. And I gave him my Southwest ticket. I said, you can take Mom, take your jet. And he's like, yeah, come back with me to Vegas. I said, no, I'm just kidding. He goes, no, I'm taking the jet back tonight. You can come with me. I said, oh, for real? And I said, yeah. So I gave him like $10 gas money. I said, this is for the jet. I said, that's all I got. And so so it's surreal, right? So I'm on the jet, Jay, and he immediately he has, I don't know, he always carries a big fucking thing of note. There's tons of notes, and it's probably all his jokes and hate mail, whatever. And then there's this Carrot Top on it, so I was like surreal. I'm watching him sleep, and it was this Carrot Top on his thing, and I'm like, this is a great moment in my life. All of a sudden, it's really, really bumpy coming into land. I mean, really bad. Like, oh my God! And this is how it's going to end. And Jay, one of the big bumps wakes him up, and he looks over at me. He's like, you okay, Canton? I said, no, I'm not okay. And he's like, you okay? I said, no, I really am not okay. This is not good. Oh, take it easy. What's the worst thing that can happen? We crash, and then tomorrow in the newspaper it says, Jay Leno dies with 2 unknowns. I said, fuck you. I said, I just did your show, so then that means we're both unknown. Nobody's watching.
Carrot Top, everybody.
Cheers.